Hey, beautiful people. How is everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing good. I am a little bit late, I guess, getting into the game tonight or this week. This month in general, right? I'm like a whole month late to the gig. But hey, we move, right? We move. Disclaimer, I am not up to my best today, so we'll see kind of what I'm able to sort of get through as far as readings for you guys, because it's that time, y'all. It's that time of the month where I have to sit with God, okay? So I honestly don't know what kind of game I'm bringing to the table tonight. I wouldn't necessarily say it's my A game, but I mean, I'm still in the game for the most part. Hello, beautiful. Hey, Ariana. Hey, Nina. How are you guys doing? It's been a minute, y'all. I think it's been, a couple of weeks? Oh, dude. I'm telling you, life has been lifing me. I am still feeling a little bit low, in all honesty. I'm still fragile. I've been optimizing cellularly. So it's been causing some, I guess I'm getting some realizations about where there may still be some blockages. So I had some stuff moving through the solar plexus. The digestion was a little bit off because of the processing. It was like backdated processing. I had to process 17 to 19-year-old trauma. And that was sort of, hey, Ash, that was sitting, I guess, just in the solar plexus. It just would not move. It wouldn't budge. But it's moving through, and it's also triggering my cycle for this month. So my energy, vibrationally speaking, is pretty low. Oh, hell yeah, girl. It was hard. It still is. My body's a little bit fragile, but I am doing my best, I guess, to just kind of like keep my vibrations elevated and make sure that I am hydrated as well, because I'm telling you, the last few days, I think all of last week for me, I hope and pray you get better as soon as possible. Thank you, beautiful. I hope and pray I get better as soon as possible too, girl. I'm telling you. I wouldn't necessarily say. You can skip me tonight to keep the load low from the list, love. Oh, thank you, Mina. We'll kind of go through the list and see what I can sort of like do. Like I said, I'm quite fragile at the minute, but again, it's going to be a trial and error. I don't know if you guys were here the last time when I tried to do this on the first day of my cycle, and I could not maintain a channel. Homegirl had to tap out. So we'll see what kind of happens tonight. I am in the developmental stages, I think, because I did a lot of cognitive processing. That should help with that process, I guess. So I feel a little bit energized, I guess, to some degree. We'll see how long that lasts for, because I don't know how well I can hold a channel right now, y'all. But I want it to be. I miss my peoples, okay? Wait, did you get food poisoning, or am I thinking of something else? No, I didn't get food. I didn't get food poisoning. I got digestive blockages. I was processing some old trauma, and I was actually. So funny story, guys. So I was processing the attachment wound for my previous relationship, before my now relationship, because I went through that area. I hadn't visited that area for a long time. Went through that area, and then it triggered some memory. I was going down memory lane, and then a demon tried to whisper to me to kind of like activate my self-sabotage tendencies. And I'm like, this ain't it. This isn't the class, but I'm going to process that wound. So because I negated that space, said demon was like, I'm gonna get you, girl. I'm gonna come back to you. I'm like, okay, cool. We'll do that. I wasn't aware. Hey, Miss Green, I wasn't aware later down the line that happened on Sunday. Then on Tuesday, I had Bible studies with my Jehovah's Witness sisters. I'm reintegrating back into that space, and that triggered me because the last time I was in that space, I navigated through a fear of not being accepted, because she basically activated savior syndrome. She felt like she needed to save me once I told her who I am, what I do, and all that kind of stuff. So I was happy to kind of like take that next step in my relationship with God and revisit that space again. But then it beneath the surface, it also triggered some of those feelings. So I had to process that as well. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's kind of like going on, and I had to process that all throughout the week. So my digestive tract got a blockage manifested as a result of all of the stuff that I was processing. It's been a heavy week, y'all. I don't know about you guys, but I set some intentions during the Aries new moon. So a lot of the stuff that manifested, I guess, a lot of the stuff that manifested was really just to give me an opportunity to kind of like move through the stuff that I said that I wanted to manifest, as far as like just letting go of some old stuff so I can make way for some new stuff. So that's kind of where the situation is at the minute, right? Where are we, guys? Egyptian famous. Hey Chaley. Sending lots of love and prayer. Thank y'all. It's been quite a week. It has been interesting. Okay, so who have we got first on the list? We've got Miss Green on the donation list. We've got Ash, Sammy, Mina. But we're doing, guys. How's the Aries new moon sort of treating you guys? How are you guys finding everything? How are you finding the energies? Because I'm looking forward to, because we're still navigating through the Virgo full moon energies, and that's my rising sign, so I'm still navigating through that. I'm getting better, beautiful. I'm optimizing. I'm not all the way there yet. I'm kind of like, the way that I explain it to people, it's like old self has died, but the funeral hasn't quite occurred just yet. So she's still kind of lingering in the air. So new self is cocooning, waiting for her, opportunity to be birthed. We'll figure that out, I guess, once the Libra full moon gets here on Wednesday. We'll see what that looks like. But yes, I can't see the donation for Miss Green. Good. I had a visit from a Capricorn I'm quite fond of last night. Oh, okay. Why not? Listen, Saturday night. Oh, there we go. Hold on, bear with me. Okay, there we go. There we go, Miss Green. Okay, it says that I have to accept it. Oh, no, I've got the actual notification to accept it. Oh, that came through a couple of minutes ago. My bad. Sorry, girl. There we go. So, Miss Green, we've got you on the donation list. Then we've got Ash, Sammy, Mina, Smaradina, Melody, Kayla, Katie, Ariona, Rika. Rika's tried to get in on this list for a minute. Okay. It's going to be interesting to see if Rika's actually able to get in on the list tonight and actually like get their reading and actually be present in the room, because obviously they're towards the back end of the list, which I think Rika, if you're here, girl, guy, whatever the dynamic is, I'm gonna say one of the things for you might actually be some patience, okay? Because every time you come into the room, you got to do a wait. So I don't know if your guys are constantly trying to assist you in navigating through the class of patience, but I'm telling you, there's going to be some activation if you can sit still in this space, okay? Or at least time yourself and get your guys. Unfortunately, she sleeps when her name pops up. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, bugger. Listen, tell Rika she's got to figure out how to get the hack code, okay? She needs to give her question to somebody so that when it's time for her, hey, Kayla girl, when it's time for her to kind of like get her turn, somebody can just throw her question out there. Yeah. She needs to sort of like just so that she can get an in. Because I feel bad. This is like the third time I'm seeing her on the list. I'm hoping that she can actually like get it. Yes, Rika. Yes, girl. It snaps for you. Okay, we're gonna try. Obviously, we got to go by the list, but yeah, we are talking about you, beautiful. Okay, love. Hope you're doing well. Right, guys, let's go and dive into it. Miss Green, throw your question out there. And let's pray, guys. Can I get some support? You know, your girl's fragile at the minute. Okay. So can I just get some support? I've been navigating through the most at the minute, so I actually even need that extra protection. I had to do some self-healing Reiki as well, and they had to sort of like cut some cords for me. So they know that they're already on job. They're like on edge, ready. Okay. Ricky texted me a peculiar question last night. I would like to know what he's thinking or feeling currently about my response. Okay. Hey, Rika. I'm hoping that we can sort of get to you, beautiful, because I really want to see what spirit wants to sort of unveil to you. Third time's the charm. We'll see. We'll see. We shall see. They want to give you into this space as well. When I'm like, not even like on my A game. That's not on, Rika. Not on at all. Okay, so Miss Green wants to know, guys, in terms of the peculiar question that Ricky posed last night. She wants to know, firstly, what are his current thoughts about her response? Let's start with the okay, mental plane. Mental plane's got a whole feedback, girl. A whole like it's a whole thing. So hold up, let me I guess receive it so I can throw it back at you. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, guys, I'm going to tell you something else as well. I'm going to finish up my screen's reading firstly. Oh, okay. This is a whole story, girl. Okay, so. Okay. Oh. Sorry, I'm like receiving it in bite size. Okay. Okay. So, okay. From looking at the situation, sorry, I was like, because there was so much. There's like 13 cards here, beautiful. So there's a lot going on with the dynamics of the situation. There's so many layers, I guess, to it. So I had to kind of like receive the story, if you will, right? So breaking everything down, I think that you guys are kind of like navigating through some fear of the unknown being some of the potential creative blockages to the situation that you guys are navigating through. But it seems like you guys are somewhat a little bit determined, right? That's kind of like his thought process. It seems like potentially you're determined to kind of like come to completion on certain situations that you guys are navigating through. But at the same time, he also feels like you've kind of like expressed a sense of feeling a little bit burnt out by the process and feeling as though potentially if things can't necessarily come together, that determination could see you move in a direction potentially, I don't want to say with or without him, but that's really like I want to say that's an urgency sort of like activation in the space. Like there's urgency because I think that that's why there's this thought process of, well, if she's this determined um, to kind of like put in the work and sort of like navigate through the fight. I will say this, he does feel like there's potentially some, situation. Yeah. Well, see, this is the thing. He does feel like, in terms of the delivery, he does feel like there was some ego involved in terms of the delivery, which is why it feels like a little bit of a creative block for him, per se. But he understands that where the situation is at the minute isn't necessarily serving you, and you're at a place where you're willing to actually sort of like release that, or at least forgive what hasn't necessarily become of the situation to be able to sort of like move forward. Girl, I don't want to say he's panicked. I don't want to use the word panic because I don't feel like he's like outwardly expressing that, but I feel like internally like his pipes are busted. You know what I mean? It's pressure season, and I don't know how well he's navigating through the pressure, right? Um, okay, so what are his current feelings on the situation, other than anxiety? That is prevalent. I can feel that part. Okay, thank you. Ah, ooh. He wants to pull back. He wants to pull back. I think the pressure. So this is the thing. We're in diamond seasons. Pressure makes diamonds or burst pipes. So in this sort of little arena that we're in at the minute, as far as like this pot that God's like cooking us in, he's kind of like, his response to the situation is that he can't necessarily flirt um, with the idea of certain things, because I guess he doesn't necessarily know if that's something that you guys are even on that level at the minute, right? So he's a little bit cautious about that situation at the minute. And I feel like he's not necessarily feeling like this is something that he can speak about. He's internalizing a whole bunch at the minute. Like, mind is in full blown chaos mode, to be fair. Body and physiology screaming anxiety. And if he doesn't tend to this, he may just activate his own self sabotaging tendencies, unfortunately. He might just fumble the situation if he doesn't let some of this steam off. So this is the thing, right? The problem for him with the situation is your timeline, beautiful, right? It's not that it's not you. It's not necessarily that he doesn't want to. It's that I just don't think he feels like he's all the way ready just yet, to be able to really like give you the things that you want, right? In terms of like how you see like the relationship dynamic and the things that you want to kind of be able to cultivate. He's just not there yet. He's still a little bit immature. And I think he knows that, and he shooketh about that. Okay, he's scared. Felt some fear. I don't know what other, way. He hasn't responded to what I said, girl, that he should explain that with his words. Girl, he's shutting down. He's literally shutting down. He's shutting down. He's shutting down. There's a whole bunch going on up here, and if he's really not careful, like this, he could very easily just like withdraw and put himself like, there's a lack of self-examination. There's almost I don't want to say refusal to sort of like self-examine, but I think he's a little bit scared to actually grow up. I think his little inner child is scared to grow up, girl. I think so what I'm seeing with the situation, right, is that he knows that what you said was, that's the right thing for you to do, right? He gets that. He gets that you guys are at that place where decisions, hey Melody, decisions have to be made. And you guys are actually being proactive about life moving forward. I think he knows that that's where you guys are in terms of where you are supposed to be within the relationship dynamic. But and however, it scares him to actually like commit like it's like, whoa, I won't have my freedom, I won't necessarily have my space, my time. Like it feels a little bit suffocating, to be honest, and I think that that's probably some of the stuff that he has to navigate through in being able to just be honest and actually, like, if that's the case, maybe now isn't necessarily the right time for him. I don't know how much more time you have as far as grace to give to the situation, but he's not there yet, my love. I think there's still some growing to do. There's still some growing to do on his end. So the fact that he's like withdrawing and kind of like almost shutting down, I think he doesn't really know what to make of the situation. You know what I mean? He doesn't really know what to make of the situation. I think he feels not necessarily forced, but he feels the pressure of the situation at the minute, for sure. So he rather lose me because in my head, if I don't get a response to a combo he initiated, I'm blocking for real, for real. Well, girl, he won't be the first. It's blocking season, so it's okay. I don't know. These triggers are coming up. It's blocking season. Divine feminines are activating that power, I guess, to be able to control or delete in terms of their reality. And divine masculine are actually sort of like getting to sit their exams on their communication classes. So a lot of those are happening as a result. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Control or delete. Blocking season has well and truly sort of like, been initiated. But let's see what's the guidance for you actually in navigating the situation to close out the space, my love. Okay, sorry. Let's see what is the guidance, guys. What do you guys advise for the okay. Oh, there we go. What do you guys advise? Thank you. Oh, okay. They said, I'm like, girl, they said, true shady, but can't have someone, can't see your energy and effort in their life continue to have access to. So that's really actually what's taking place, and I'm glad that you use that keyword there, Miss Green, access, because that's what's actually happening with those files. Bixby, see, this is what I'm saying. As soon as I said access, Bixby know what's going on in the universe. Okay, with this block dynamic that's sort of like out there, it is due to the whole access situation. And actually sort of being able to instigate boundaries with access. It's another layer of the boundaries dynamics, but it is blocking season. The Leo blocks me and then unblocks me after days. I think you meant to say a number of days, because he thought I blocked him too. Miss Green, Cheney said, do they have access though? Are they capable? Are you capable of ignoring them? 4 days. I thought it was four. Because that's how I read it in my mind as well. So I'm glad that we're there, girl. I'm not. And don't want to attempt removed and blocked. So yeah. It is blocking season. It's a thing that's going on because I was like speaking to the guides about this, as far as like, when blocking season, when that code generally becomes activated, it's not even necessarily just the person per se, it's actually the act. So you kind of like are essentially, quintessentially, the way that the universe receives that is that, okay, you're no longer engaging in that pattern. Because a lot of the times people can go through the block and delete methodology, I guess, to the optimization process in relationships and actually still engage in the relationship afterwards. However, that relationship must then transcend the previous relationship, vibrationally speaking. So yeah, otherwise, hello, block and delete again. So that part. But yeah, they said what they said, Miss Green, is the answer to your response essentially is a yes, but you do need to get more information because right now is definitely an unlikely air. So I spoke to you in terms of the timeline concept of things, right? I think you kind of probably have to be able to really clarify what it is that you're willing to work at and what the work looks like and what it is that you're actually expecting in the situation, because I think that there's a lot of presumptions, and Ricky's overthinking nature is actually spiraling in the space at the minute, which is actually causing some yeah, anxiety. He needs to deal with his breathing situation as well, because the anxiety is actually riddled within his his nervous system, pretty much. But yeah, the advice is that the response from him is a yes. It's just you guys are still going to have to sort of like iron out the details of the situation, because I think he's a little bit like he's scared. I said it already. He's scared. He's scared. He's shaken. Okay, he's scared. So he's trying to understand, because it felt very final, in terms of like your direct response to the situation. So yeah, I guess timing on this one. The information's coming. You don't have to wait too long. There is going to be a response. It is likely to be a matter of days, but I think he is finding his words because he is riddled with a whole bunch of anxiety at the minute from the situation. Okay, that part. But thank you, beautiful. Chaley said, no judgments from me. In my opinion, though, it is a passive aggressive self defense mechanism used when someone feels hurt or feels as if they are not getting what they want, or just telling, versus just telling the person. Yes, and sometimes it's also exercised as a tool for boundaries as well. So I agree with you there. Sometimes when people are, I guess, because I see it with people where even when I work with them, they're just like, I just don't have the capacity. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I think sometimes as well, it gives people this sense or perception illusion, if you will, of power in the dynamics where they may feel that they have been hurt. It is a coping mechanism to actually sort of lashing out from a reactionary place of not necessarily getting your needs met. And when that dynamic sort of like comes into play, a lot of the times it is from, a person sort of like licking their wounds. It's never really coming from like a positive experience, is it? You never want to block the thing that you're grateful for receiving, not really, but when things are a little bit sour, it feels like you can't necessarily heal in the same environment. So a lot of the times, I guess, when we go into that kind of like defense mode, that dynamic gets activated. It's really interesting, though. It's interesting for me to see when, yes, I see both sides. As I said, no judgments from me. Honestly, no. I get you, because you're right. You're right. It is a defense mechanism. Because when I observe, so my human, the blocking thing, I think okay, so I'll put it like this. When a wound is fresh, the blocking thing I find in my observation of how my human processes with that dynamic, it's usually when the wound is fresh. When the wound is a little bit more like the tolerance is more, because the capacity to withstand more is there. Like the wound has taken some time, basically. Once time has played a factor in the situation, then the block can actually become, okay, there's an open channel. You know what I mean? But it's very, very interesting. It's a very interesting war tactic, because I observe what that feels like for myself, because I experienced the block and delete code when people are, moving up to their other levels of life. And it's actually like, whoa, what the hell? We got to do all of that now? Snap. So it is painful. So just by the impact of it, you can actually know like how hurt a person actually was when they blocked you. Do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, Aries season. That's what's up. That's what's up, girl. Okay. May Aries. Okay. Who do we have next on the list? Yes. What birthday is it for you, beautiful? Laugh my ass off. Has happened to me once, and I actually realized my wrongs. Exactly. When you're on the receiving end of that kind of like updating process, it hits, it hurts. Like, whoa. Um, what important messages does spirit want me to know right now? Thank you in advance. Okay, girl. I'm gonna get onto it for you. April 18th. Oh snap. My codes is April 19th. That's what's up. Wouldn't that be this month? Is that this? We're in like the second, no? Hopefully you will be live on my birthday. Is that a Friday? We'll see. We'll see. Communication is so difficult. Oh, girl. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Even communicating with myself is a challenge because I'm like having to update pieces of myself. I'm like, whoa, we haven't spoken in a while. I didn't realize you were still operating from that program. It is the most important thing that we have to use. You're absolutely right there, Cheney. Many times, if we have the courage to use it, it actually benefits us and the situation we're in. Definitely. I find sometimes when I'm communicating with people, though, when they don't want to hear what I've got to say, I've experienced the block and delete a few times after those types of situations. And then I think, then I have to go back and think to myself, okay, maybe it was how I said it, because what I said was always going to have an impact, because obviously layers of truth hurts. It might be my truth, not necessarily objectively their truth, but subjectively mine, and that is bound to sort of hit. Or if not on my birthday, the day before or after. Oh yeah, it is this month. I forgot it was April for a second. Yes. No, Cheney. Mm-mm. Nope. Communication's so key, though. Definitely. I've had those though where I'm like, I'm telling people like, I'm trying to vocalize or I'm trying to communicate as best as I think that I can, but just sometimes when you're whatever you've got to say is going to be received, however it's going to be received, because truth hurts. So it is what it is. Yeah, side note, I did confront the Leo after he blocked and unblocked me for the second time. He was like, "You're not the only one who got blocked." I think you were saying last time as well. I told him, I know, listen, it's blocking season. I think that everybody's just got, again, as well, like, we're also being activated. Like, it's actually our insecurities. A lot of the times when we are triggered to block, it's usually like the abandonment wound, like the band-aid, whatever band-aid you kind of had on that is kind of like lifting a little bit. And then fears of rejection is usually another band-aid lift as well, that can sort of like cause that dynamic. And sometimes just outright feeling like needs aren't necessarily being met. You know. Okay. Sorry. I'm pulling cards for you, Ash. Don't worry. I was still in the zone. We can't control how other people respond if we are communicating in a healthy way, but we can at least walk away knowing that we did our best in a healthy way. Yeah, I think those are the tricky dynamics, man, in communication class, because like when you're trying to communicate from like your adult self, right, and then that kind of the response to that is a regression. And then it's almost like you have to come down here to be able to get back to here. And like, it's such a hard equation. I failed that class a few times because I'm like, God, I am stupid. I don't know what the answer is to this equation. If you can give a sister a indemnification, a guide, lead me, Lord. I'm telling you, because I fail that one oftentimes, right? Oftentimes. Trust me, more times than I care to resit that class. Okay. Please clarify. Put it into context for me. Sorry, Ash, I am sort of going through your dynamics and situation. Okay. Oh, that's nice of you, Ash, because that's usually what it is. Like sometimes it's like insecurities are triggered. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, let me block you. I don't know how this might go. I might get hurt, so let me just kind of like protect myself. It is a coping mechanism. It's when the protective shield goes up. So it's when we start to build our walls. Guys, should I go to Hibachi Seafood Place or the Cheesecake Factory? You probably don't know that place. I don't know Hibachi. The Cheesecake Factory I've heard of, so I'm gonna go off the back of that on the basis that I've heard of that. So yeah. He was like, how? I said through tarot. Sorry. I told him I know. No, hold on. Let me go back to Ashes on that. Side note, I confronted Leo after he blocked me and unblocked me for the second time. He was like, you're not the only one who got blocked. I told him, I know. He was like, how? I said through tarot. He was like, are you a seer woman? Sorry, I had to go back to get the whole setup because I wanted to get like all I could get from the giggles because I knew it was gonna be quite the tickle. So thank you for that one, Ash. Oh, that tickled me. That tickled me. Okay. Ariana says, I'm sure that they have a hibachi's and seafood restaurant in the UK. They probably do, but I am not a big seafood gal. Nuh-uh. My digestion just doesn't. I've got a very sensitive digestion. I think I'm supposed to be a fruitarian. I've been saying this since like 2018 when I activated in my guides. So like, by the way, you're supposed to be a fruitarian. And I'm like, just fruits, really? I'm like, where's the grit in that? You know? But yeah, it's the thing. But my digestion's like so off, like so off. I have Mars, Saturn, and Pluto in Scorpio in my third house. So communication plays a huge part in my life. Damn. Third house. Oh, karma, battles, subconscious, transformation, all of that. Your whole like, oh girl. Sorry, Chaylee. Sorry, that's for you. That's me giving you a virtual. That's me giving you a virtual like, oh, seriously, that's intense. Then I told him, you seem like something is bothering you. If you want to talk, I'm here. Cheesecake, yes. Hibachi's is a Japanese food place. You will make way more money there. His response, that was Chaley to Ariana. His response, there is a girl, but I don't know. Then he said, I'm scared to get close to people. I tend to run away. You don't say! Mr. Leo! Shocker. He's funny. He is funny. Oh, what a douchey response. Oh, dude. The Cheesecake Factory has so many options, and they are known for their cheesecake. I said, I know. You'll be surprised at what I found out about you via tarot. That part, that part. And it's not even intentional. It's just sometimes I'm minding my own business, right? And, the cards, they're just like, whatever it is that needs to be here is here. That's why I even had to like clarify this. I'm coming back to your question as well, Ash. I haven't forgotten because we are here to do business at the end of the day, right? I like seafood. I don't eat it too often, but I would like to. Seafood is expensive though. That part too. That part too. Considering like, but I guess obviously it's the labor of having to source it because obviously, yes, God's provided it to us for free, but labor costs. So I get it. Um, that is because of your Virgo rising digestion. That part. But since I've actually gone through my surgery, I feel like they haven't put things right. I feel like they didn't put everything back. I've got a small little body. Maybe they kind of like, because things were squished by my fibroids for so long as well. It was like they actually even said that everything was squished by like one significant fibroid. My digestion's just been off since surgery. Like the way that everything is, like my solar plexus is really sensitive at the minute. It's like the one place where I'm struggling to be able to like allow for energy to flow. Like some stuff I have to like go in consciously and like move, I guess. My body's yeah. But thanks for the gems on that part as well, Chaley. You ever had Japanese food? Yes, I have. Again, still believe I should be a futurarian. I have Virgo rising as well. Yes. Thank you, love. Me too, Ariana, right? That part. Chaley, yeah, the Cheesecake Factory would be a great place to work. That part. Yeah. Chaley's in Utah. Okay. You actually asked the question next. Yeah, she's in Utah. Um, I think he is scared of me now. I think he's scared of you now too, girl. I think he's scared of you now too. Okay. The CF is one of my favorite restaurants, Cheesecake Factory. I also served or bartended for 15 years off and on, and the Cheesecake Factory is going to be bigger bills and fast turnaround, and it's always busy. Love that, right? Always busy. Oh, okay. I live so far away from you. New York. Surgery does affect the digestion, unfortunately. Yeah, like I feel like my whole stuff in there is just thrown off. I'm just like, I feel like there needs to be a zip. Like in the future design of humans, there needs to be like a zip so we can go in. I think we should be educated enough to that level on how to be able to like fix our own human. Okay. And they should just have us go in and unzip and do whatever work needs to be done because I'm telling you, it's intense at the minute. Had two cesarean and recovery was quite of a task. Yeah, I'm thinking, oh my God, when I do have children, because I've obviously gone through the process this way now, I'm going to have to sort of go through C-section. And I'm like, I mean, I'm grateful for the no pushing vibe because I don't know if your girl could do that. But I'm like, oh God, the C-section's like, I've still got some recovery period, man. My mom doesn't have really good digestion right now either. There must be something in the air then, man. Hey, Sammy. She can't eat certain stuff. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I feel like fruits are the only thing where my body actually processes. And my body has like a positive response. It moves like wind through my body, and it also actually like fills my body fairly quickly, actually. So put something else. Put something else in my birthday day. So I'm taking time for her. So next time, oh, that's okay. You guys, mwah, 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 happy birthday. You guys enjoy yourself. You know, that's what's up, man. I love a good arrival day. Oh, thank you for stopping in. Happy birthday. Let's throw some birthday cakes out in the chat for Sammy. Love that. I somehow have been lucky enough to not have any issue with food and whatnot, but it is common in Virgo placements. Yeah, because we tend to be very, very particular. Almost a little bit on the spectrum, if you know what I mean. I had to have a C-section, and it's not bad. You'll do great. Thank you for the vote of confidence, Shaylee. I appreciate that. I'm mostly fruitarian too. How do you do it, Mina? Because I'm like really trying to optimize my body to what it's naturally sort of like sorting me for. Obviously, it's hard here. I'm gonna put that out there because obviously, like, I could go to the trees back home and help myself. Okay. Here I have to buy stuff or obviously source my own, but I do have a garden in the back, so it might be a good season to start growing my fruits. Vegetables as well, I'm okay with, but again, it throws my digestion off a little bit as well. It builds up mucus, interestingly, in my body with veg. I don't know why, but it's weird. I guess it's going through the detoxing process probably to kind of like fumigate my body and take out any toxins, but it's a little bit intense on my body, I find. Fruits are high in frequency and also most bioavailable to the body of that part. I also told the nurse that I was walking around as soon as I could feel my legs again. They tried telling me no, and that didn't work for them. Oh, girl, listen. I hope to be as strong as you, Chaley. Please bless me with some of that energy. Do we have the cycle yet, Chaley? Because at this point, I'm on my second round, girl. your question. My question to you, Chaley. Oh, thank you, Ash. Look, Sammy did get some birthday cakes in the chat. My pain tolerance is fairly high. Mine is to some degree in some areas. I guess it depends, to be fair. Oh, Sammy, happiest birthday, love. Hope you have a blessed one. And Mina also says, I will suggest wheatgrass supplement for speedy recovery. Oh, thank you. Turmeric, yes. I did actually bring some back as well from Jamaica to be able to utilize for the digestive situation that I've been navigating through. So, word to the wise on that one. Definitely going to take that in. So, now that that's over, y'all, I don't know how long it's going to take us to get through like the list tonight, but hey, yes, I did. Thank God. I have a Plan B pill coming in the mail tomorrow after this weekend as well. That part. You will be fine. Sammy is next. Is it Sam? Oh, okay. Sam's next. Okay. So does that mean she's sort of like heading off? What are you doing, Sam? Because you're good. You're good to head off, if anything. I need to figure out how to get the pill without having to leave my house. That part. You're gonna have to actually I still have no, I know. Don't worry. I was checking over onto your cards. I was just checking to see what Sammy wanted to do with her little situation once I wrap up here. Don't worry, Ash. I got you. The cards are still out. The cards are still out. So what they're saying, sorry, we literally dived into this is why I try not to like dive into the chat because I get distracted. I can get lost in there. Okay. You guys keep it coming. You guys are an active bunch, which I love. Okay, I love the interaction. But back to you, Ash. Because you wanted to know what spirit No. She hasn't even started yet. To be honest, she hasn't even gotten hers. But yeah. So what they're saying, as far as like something that you need to know right now, is that the I guess the kind of like options that you're navigating through in terms of your romantic situations at the minute, as right? Because we've got the Four of Wands here, and we've got the Seven of Cups. Both of them actually sort of like came sort of like as a path that you're crossing, because they weren't upright or reversed. This is how they flowed. So it's kind of like a path that you're crossing at the minute. You're kind of like navigating through the illusionary tactics, when it comes to, I guess, not necessarily just romance class, but breakdowns in communication and your transition into the thing that you actually say that you want when it comes to marriage, a home, a community, and what that harmony sort of actually looks like. You're making the decisions accordingly. A year from now, some of the no's that you're sort of like, you know, giving out and putting out at the minute, some of those situations will be at a prevalent turning point. But a lot of these no's is pretty much what you're probably going to be navigating through the course of, I don't want to say the next year or so, but you're basically going to be sort of like articulating your boundaries to make sure that obviously you are keeping in alignment with the very thing that you are manifesting for yourself. And as long as you continue to move towards that trajectory, and knowing that your no's don't necessarily have to be abrasive or aggressive, it's just an opportunity for you to be able to assert where you are definitively with the universe in terms of what you're manifesting, because the universe shall ask you, you know, okay, you say that you don't want this, but as this feeling is being stirred, are you willing to, I guess, I don't want to say lower your standards, but are you willing to kind of like second guess? Are you willing to kind of like give this person the benefit of your doubt? So you're going to go through some of those types of questioning process over the course and period of the next year or so, and beyond that, I guess, is when you actually have your recovery and regenerative period where I guess the reward starts to sort of like trickle in, where you can definitively see and say that by you saying no, I guess, to certain situations, those were delays, not necessarily a denial, right? It was a delay, not necessarily a denial. And they want to sort of like put that out there, because there will be times where it may potentially feel hopeless in essence, as you're kind of pouring out the things that are no longer serving you, because that's the season that you're in at the minute. You're in the pouring out of the things that are no longer serving you. And as you kind of move through this season into the grace period of where your blessings can be poured into you for aligning with said intentions by making space, right? You're creating space for the timeline of the things that you're manifesting. As you kind of like move through the process of that, you'll actually kind of navigate through some discouragement at times, you know, on whether or not you're making the right decision. Oh, it tends to be lonely sometimes. Oh, this person has a tendency to be, you know, talking one way, but their actions don't seem to be aligning with their words. And what am I supposed to do? Is this going to be the narration of everyone I come across? So you're going to battle some of these conflicting feelings, I guess, as you navigate through the process of this pouring out, right, over the year, as you continue to affirm to yourself what your specifications are in terms of the partner that you're manifesting, and what it is that you're also equally sort of working on within yourself as well, to make sure that you align equally yoked for the opportunity when it comes, right? So yeah, that's they're giving you a heads up, beautiful. They're giving, because it felt more like a heads up type situation. Because one of the things that they were showing me at one point, they were sort of like showing me that there may be a little bit of bouts of minor depression due to feelings of isolation, which actually sort of like is manifesting as, you know, deep emotions of loneliness, but it's actually you just being in isolation to strategically move into your next version, right? So I think though that's probably one of the things that you're going to be needing to check yourself before you wreck yourself on that part, right? So observe it, process it, lean into it where you need to, but try not to sit there and let yourself like bleed in it, right? um and then pick yourself up and continue pushing, because you're on your way somewhere. Do you see what I'm saying? You're not late, you're divinely timed, and you'll get there when you arrive. Funny enough, that train ticket is for literally the moment that you arrive. The train ticket, the time that you get there don't even actually show up on the ticket. It's one of those types of tickets. It doesn't even actually show the time that the thing is supposed to happen until the time the thing is supposed to happen. That part. But I hope that that was like useful for you, because yeah, you wanted to be able to check in and see, and we went all the way around the world first before we even got to your question. It doesn't seem that Sam is in the room anymore. So I think she's actually sort of left, and I think that that's what she was basically telling us. Thank you for your patience with the interruption to your reading, Ash. That part, right? Because we literally had like a whole sidebar for a little bit. But I appreciate you guys. Like, thank you, beautiful. Thank you. I think Sammy's taken a bit of a sidebar. So let's see, who else do we have in the room? Mina's going to be sort of like, do you feel like you want to sort of put a question out there? Do you feel like there's anything that's prominent on your heart? Sammy's left the room as well. So there's a room, I guess, space and room being. Oh, today's Sam's daughter birthday. Okay, I thought it was her birthday, but yeah, okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's okay. We're cool. Hey, Katie. Okay, Rika's definitely here too. Yes. Okay, so Sammy's out of the question, Mina. Smaradina, Melody, are you still with it? I don't know when was the last time I actually saw Melody. I didn't see Melody. I don't know if we lost Melody during the sidebar of Ash's reading. I see you, Rika. I'm glad to see that you're here too. Okay, so who else do we have on the list then? Do we have Smaradina in the room? Do we have Melody? I think Kayla's in the room. I did see Kayla at some point. So yeah. Smarad, I know that time is a difference as well. There's a significant time difference for Smaradina as well. So it's so stupid they make you have a prescription for birth control. I know. I know. I don't know how I missed that one, but it was funny that it came back up. Oh, okay. Sammy, Mina, Smaradina, Melody. Who's here, guys? Katie. I know Katie's here. We're gonna go to Katie. I'm gonna come back. If Melody pops back into the room, Kayla I saw at one point as well. Rika's here, Katie's here. I know that Ariona's here in the chat. I've seen her active in the chat as well. I don't know if she's here right now, but I know that she's in the chat. I know Chaylee's in the chat as well. Do you want to throw a question out there, Mina? Seeing as like, we'll give everybody else some time to be able to let us know who else is kind of like present. What were you sort of like thinking to come into the space, or were you just kind of, oh, what are current, look at that. Maybe do Rika because of her time difference. Okay, I hear you on that. Cheney. I hear you on that. Mina, I guess that's sort of like in a similar time zone. So we're gonna do Mina. Katie is here as well. Katie's throwing her stuff out there. She's like, nah, I'm before Rika. So we're gonna just, I guess, go Mina, Katie, and Rika. I don't know if Ariana is still in the room as well, but yeah, that part. So yeah, what are current feelings slash thoughts of yes. Yeah, I think you might have to revise the list, Mina, because I don't know who's actually here. So can we get like a show of hands based on who's here at the minute? We're obviously going to still abide to the previous list and stuff. Stick Ariana at the end of the list if she's not here right now, because I know she does that. She tunes out, jumps back in, you know. Right. What are current feelings slash thoughts of Yasir towards me? Thank you so much, love, for your precious time and energy. Okay, so we're going to start with, oh, feelings were first today. We're going to unpack feelings. Right, so Yasir's feelings towards Mina. What's his current feelings towards Mina? Give it me. Okay. Okay, attraction. Crossing the path of that attraction and what that means in terms of passion. Okay. Oh, the passion's attractive. Okay. Cool beans. Okay, so what's his thought process, I guess, currently towards Mina? Katie, I'm gonna come to that question, girl. That's a real whew, come to Jesus moment. I can feel they're gonna like pour into me on that one. Let's see. What is Yasir's thoughts towards Mina? Oh, it's the whole story, is it? Okay. Let's get the story going, Mina. That part, right? Let go. Is this a reunion type situation with the you and Yasir character? Answer me that question firstly, Mina, so I can put this story into context in terms of like what they're saying to me, in terms of the thought process, right? Because they're showing me that I guess this is where the thought process is stemming from. Like the thought process is stemming from some sort of reunion of some sort. Yeah. Um, from what I can see with the situation, right? Feelings on the situation. He feels like your passion's attractive. Like he likes how you okay, so how can I put it? There are certain qualities that he appreciates about you, right? As a divine feminine. He likes the fact that you're passionate about something and whatever it is that you're passionate about, like the way that you're able to kind of like express your passions and articulate yourself in that sense. Like his feelings on the situation is that he's attracted to that quality within yourself, right? Um, and it's something I guess for him to kind of take note on in terms of I wouldn't necessarily say something that he's perhaps lacking in his situation. I think it's just something that God is kind of like showing him. Maybe if it's something that he wants to be able to pull within his current situation, you know, like potentially like bring this aspect that he sees as a quality of yours, because for the most part as far as like his thought process on the situation, it feels like for him it seems like this is a reunion as far as the friendship dynamic and being able to sort of like come back together to just kind of like I guess just bring things back into balance. That's probably the best way that I can put it. Bring things back into balance. It feels like it's now feeling like things are kind of coming back to a place where it's kind of there's justice, I guess, because that's how they're putting it in my mind. There's justice as far as like his mental restlessness. I guess there's an opportunity to be able to kind of like engage in conversation, and that feels like exciting. I want to say it feels exciting in the sense that I guess not having been able to do that before, I guess he didn't realize like that he actually missed it or missed you guys' sort of connection. I don't think it's, you know, I don't think he's looking at it from a romantic context because I'm not getting that in the dynamics at all. But I feel like he says he wants marriage with me. I don't feel like he's actually interesting. I don't feel like he's actually there. Also confessed his feelings. I don't. Okay. So he actually wants to go there with you as opposed to trying to, because that's how they're giving it to me. He's supposed to be drawing this forward. He's supposed to be seeing what he sees within you to question whether or not he's willing to actually draw that forward from his current situation, because there's qualities that he sees in you that he doesn't necessarily. It's not that she doesn't have it, it's just that he hasn't like inspired her to like activate these qualities within herself. So it's not supposed to be in that context. So he's clearly thinking with his little head as opposed to his big head, but but because he doesn't want to do the real work. I think what it is that he's attracted to the way that you're passionate about stuff, right? And he's attracted to the way that you articulate yourself, and he's attracted to the way that you carry yourself as a woman. But he's not supposed to, because this is the thing. Like, I get that there's competition, because this is where I guess they were taking me to in terms of the context of the situation, in terms of the competition that he's navigating through in his mental space with the situation, but he's not supposed to. Do you see what I'm saying? He's not supposed to. But with the dynamic, it's not going to manifest that way. So thank you, beautiful, for holding strong on the situation. So clearly, whatever justice is being served, I guess, in this situation is you actually not necessarily giving him an opportunity to make some decisions that's going to affect him as far as when karma starts her recycling process, because that would be a negative karma for himself. Stay strong on that one, Mina. It doesn't seem like he's kind of like aligned with his marriage values. I think he's basically choosing the easy way out, and God is forcing him almost to do the work in his own situation with his own dynamic. I'm not going to lie and say that he hasn't necessarily, I don't want to say fallen out of love, but I think her light's dwindled as well over time. I feel like her light has dwindled, and that's what he has lost attraction to, I guess, because that vibrancy that she once had, it isn't necessarily there in the same way. But I'm not being funny, like, being a wife is a tough task, and a lot of the times, you get into situations where it just takes a lot out of you because you're playing so many roles, and sometimes your light does dwindle, you know what I mean? So he needs to focus on his situation. She is his girlfriend from 7 years, her girlfriend from 7 years. Yeah, I don't think that this is a situation where it's not going to go that direction anyways. And clearly you're probably the one that's holding the justice and balance in this situation, because they seem excited about this reunion to be able to sort of like communicate again and be able to kind of like engage and interact. And I think that they love and admire the person that you are, but that admiration is being skewed by lust. Okay. So with that being said, clean off the admiration, like clean off the lust and shake off that, lust. We won't wake up Martin this time, but we're going to shake off that lust off the lens of the admiration that he's actually experiencing, because now he's got an exemplary of what it is that he's looking for in a woman, just not this woman, right? You shaking it off, girl? That part. Oh yes, Rika. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna sort of like wrap it up for you. Um so you can kind of like get your clarity. Let's see what the cards have to say as far as their guidance on the situation, right? Because what they're saying is that he's fallen out of alignment with his marriage because of repressed feelings. Right now, he's not communicating as he needs to with his wife, and that's a part of their problem at the minute. And because of that, he's making really scattered and hasty decisions because he's actually frustrated, potentially sexually frustrated even as well, to be fair. Because the dynamics of their space is really they're navigating through some hardship at the minute in the relationship. I mean, they're at the 7-year mark. That's what it's supposed to do, right? The new cycles are about to start. That's what you do when you're 7 years in the thick of it, right? But yeah, what's the advice for Mina on this situation? Okay, so their advice for you on the situation is you don't necessarily have to kind of like be too assertive on the situation. It's not even anything that sort of intuitively you sense for yourself that this isn't necessarily something for yourself. And in the next couple of weeks as well, you don't necessarily sort of need any guidance on this situation. They're saying don't stop doing what you're doing because there is something better, and there isn't anything for you to forgive yourself for or this individual. Obviously, they just kind of got skewed, right? Their perspective got a bit skewed in the space. And I think with the situation as well, right? You're probably a good person to be able to kind of like maybe help them to. Thank you so much, my love, for that eye-opening message. No, I actually feel like you're the person to be able to kind of like have this discussion to maybe help him see something that he's not necessarily seeing, because honestly her light hasn't dwindled because she doesn't want to be like vibrant. It's just I don't think that he's doing enough to kind of pour into her, because he finds himself so busy. Do you see what I'm saying? He finds himself doing so much, and he's actually already detached emotionally with the situation, which doesn't really entice her to want to be vibrant about him or want to actually like be engaging. And be like romanticizing their dynamic, because it's not really that kind of space. They're actually being very disconnected with each other. I had been saying this to him to focus on his relationship with his girlfriend and stop pursuing me. Yeah, you don't even need to kind of like, you said what you said. He's going to, I guess the universe is going to lead him into the direction. If he's going to make that decision, he's not going to make it with you. I'm going to put it like that. I'm going to put it like that because he seems determined almost to kind of like go into this self-sabotage mode as opposed to work, right? So he may actually still activate this little desire, I guess, that he has to kind of like substantiate his need of whatever he feels like he's not getting in the relationship, which is attention. But he's not getting attention because he's not giving any attention. That part. So, yeah. Anywho, I am going to move on to Rika. I hope that was useful for you, beautiful. Yeah. Ma'am, I'm surrounded by the cousins who are having wealthy spouse. I feel insecure about them. Or can you guide me regarding the financial status of my spouse? Guidance from my higher self. Oh. That was extremely useful, like always. I'm glad that it was useful, beautiful. Um, Let him know that if he does, sorry, Rika, just a sidebar to Mina, like let him know that he has to like karmically reap the implications of his decisions, right? And he won't create positively if he continues to move from this place of lack, right? It's not serving. It's not even giving. It's not cute. That part too. Okay. And Mina will not be used for his F boy ways. That part, Shaylee, we ain't got no time for it. No time. Nobody got no time today, yesterday, tomorrow day. Not doing it. Okay, not our girl. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. No time. Okay, that part, Shaylee. Rika wants to know, guys. Okay, so Rika says that they're surrounded by the cousins who are having wealthy spouse, and that's triggering a little bit of insecurity, right? So they want to find out what's the financial situation of their spouse looking likely to look like. First thing we did have when we split the deck, Rika, was we had the Knight of Pentacles. So this is going to be a methodical, conservative, slow-moving process. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest of all of the knights, but he tends to be the most strategical, right? I'm gonna say this. I think you're the type. When I said that, they said to me, because you're the type to marry for love, not money necessarily. And because of that, you tend to have to navigate through some, for lack of a better way of putting it, some bitchy tendencies. Okay. Um, yes, Mina, please. Thank you. Okay, so can you speak to us, put it into context about the spouse and their financial situation? Okay, thank you. Sorry, they also asked me to pull the energy card as well to put the stuff into perspective, right? So we'll grab that. Be honest, yes, that's true. I just feel accepted by others, not neglected because of money. Yeah, that's true. I just want to feel accepted by others, not neglected because of money. Yeah, I know, beautiful, but they're gonna sort of like put it into context for me, right? They're gonna put it into context for me because it may be a journey that they're actually on, and it may be a necessity of, like basically when you come together with someone, certain blessings are, I guess, anchored to certain relationships. It's like when you come into a certain situation, then you start to level up in certain places. So it may be some of those types of dynamics as well. So I just want to sort of like clarify what that process actually sort of like looks like, right? Okay, so put it into context for me. Mm, okay. Okay. I'm going to say this to you. As far as the value in your relationship, the value in your relationship, firstly, is love. One of the things that they're showing me with the dynamics is that your spouse is um, their wealth, I guess, or their entrepreneurship is the thing that is ultimately going to be where they're able to actually sort of get to that place where they can be a little bit more stable in terms of finances, right? What I do see with the situation is that ultimately the planning aspect of things. So the person, I guess, that you get with, their money is seeded in long-term success. Their wealth is seeded in generational sort of placements of situations. And when I say generational placements of situations, like they want to make sure that there's, structures in place for the children. Like those are some of their main priorities in terms of their ability to provide for the family, in essence, before anything else, right? As far as like any of the other non-necessities, essentially, right? So that's something you guys build together for a while. I'm not gonna lie, you guys build together for a while. The person that I'm not gonna say you marry for potential, but it's one of those things where you take a chance on that potential and it does pay off. I'll put it like that. You take a chance on that potential and it does pay off. I think once the situation gets a little bit more comfortable financially is really where the marriage starts to encounter some challenges, right? Because now you guys have to navigate through who you guys are to each other with money. It was easy to navigate through who you guys were, being humbled by your circumstances. But the marriage gets tested at that level in grandiose ways, is what I'm hearing. That's what they're saying to me. So more money, more problems, girl, that part. For lack of a better way of putting it. Um, but this situation, from what they're showing me in terms of the dynamics, I think I'm just saying, I think it's one of those situations where it's going to be something that you guys work at together. I'm not saying that they are like broke or anything. I think that they have a well-to-do job, but I think they're still in their developmental stages of their financial stability at the point where you guys are able to come together and continue to build the foundations of that together so that it can flourish, right? So yeah, I want to say I want to say they're probably like middle class. Okay, I want to say they're probably like middle class. Educated background, which positions them to be able to kind of generate revenue and income because they've got some know-how, right? So it's more, this is more of a matter of the heart, I guess, that sways you into that person per se. But the chance pays off. You taking a chance pays off. Right. I hope that that was useful for you, though, my love, because it took us a whole 3 tries to like get that done. So that part. But you can be rested in knowing that you guys do get that. It takes a while, though. I'm not gonna lie. It takes a while, like for you guys to get to where you feel like you are trying to like accomplish in terms of financial stability, where there's a lot of pressure off, right? Um, okay, I think Katie, I'm gonna go back if I can find Katie's question. Okay. Right. Hmm. Katie's question. Katie, are you still in the chat? Let me know as well, beautiful. Thank you. He will be having a good profession. Yes, yes. He does something within the legal system. He does something within the legal system. That's where he's able to think. Thanks, Kayla. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you, my love. Okay. I did go back and find Katie's question, but I'm not sure if they're actually here now. Oh, I paused it again. How has my spiritual team protected me in ways I'm unaware of? Katie, and this is going to like this already, I told you from time when I saw the question that it was going to go deep. I'm gonna like pin the question just temporarily, just so that I don't lose it again, whilst I scroll down and see what else is going on in the chat, because that was quite some time ago. Don't know if Katie's still here, but I'm gonna throw her question out. Well, I'm gonna answer the question because she already put it out there. Thankfully, Melody, I did see Melody at some point as well. So Smaradina is next. We've got Melody, Kayla, Ariona, and Shaylee. Okay. So Katie's question: how has my spiritual team protected me in ways I'm unaware of? One of the first things that they've put across to me is not to say that you're careless with yourself. It's that sometimes you can put yourself in the, I don't want to say in the hot seat for others, but you don't necessarily mind taking the brunt of a situation. And in those instances, sometimes they've worked even overtime because a lot of the pressures of that dynamic, energetically speaking, isn't even necessarily, it's not necessary. You have a tendency sometimes as well of like taking on other people's issues. And sometimes they, again, that's another area that they have to work overtime in. They're also sort of like showing me that, hold on, let me digest this one. They're also showing me as well. I don't know if there's a situation. I don't know if it's a car accident or some sort of car situation that you may have found yourself involved in. Are you in the room, Katie? See, sorry, my clairsentience activating to kind of like dive into the layers of this situation as well. And it would be useful if I have you in the room to dive into, because this is what happened last time as well. I think the thingy was lagging. So Katie was like responding to me well after and I already started asking questions on her situation. But they're speaking to me about some sort of like car wreckage situation, basically. And they're showing me that they had to kind of like cover you in that space and situation as well, because that was due to somebody else's negligence, they were showing me. um yeah, one thing, because you're not here to kind of like engage and interact, to kind of like let the download sort of like soundboard and we can sort of like have a back and forth. One thing that they're saying to me again, because we're going to have to do this where I have to close out your space because there isn't an engagement, right? They're saying that you have to be more mindful, right? You have to be more mindful of the things you kind of not necessarily say yes to, but you really have to understand what it is that you're saying yes to when you say yes to certain things. And that would, they're saying that would actually help lighten their load a little bit. And it would also help to kind of like gauge the balance of your danger receptors, because your danger receptors are basically on hypersensitivity as well, because of that tendency, I want to say. It's a little bit of carelessness, but it's because there are things that you don't necessarily really care about like that. So it looks like carelessness, right? On the care sort of scale, we've got care, we've got the balance of care, and then we've got like over caring, and then we've got careless, right? And being in balance with care is kind of like where you care just enough to be able to kind of like have a healthy dynamic with that situation, right? You don't want to go all the way off the end of the spectrum. Hey, Luminous Starseed. But I think it's one of those situations as well where you can't be so careless with where you place yourself um, in terms of like your decision making process. Does that make sense? Like sometimes you won't necessarily think things all the way through. And sometimes there are energies and forces in places unbeknownst to you and others, where you could do yourself a favor and just decide that, if your body is saying to you, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea, maybe just step back, fall back for a second. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I hope that we could have gone into that question and really unpacked it more in essence. Oh, Katie, girl, did you receive any of the questioning process that I was just going through? Like I literally just put down the crystal, girl. Are you having the whole lagging situation again? Is that what we have going on at the minute? Are we experiencing that? Thank you for the like, Luminous. What's the situation, Katie? Are you lagging? Because I didn't. They were asking me. Thank you. They were asking me to speak to you about a car situation, a wreckage situation where something happened due to somebody else's negligence. Like they were referring to a particular point of reference, and I wanted to really be able to unpack it with you. But see, this is the thing, Katie, like when you're not here to kind of like really go through the download with me, that stuff gets left in my crown, and then I have to like go and like close those files. Um, they give me headaches. Ah, yeah. Well, they're saying that there was something in a situation where it was sort of like a wreckage, where it had to do with somebody else's sort of like negligence, basically, and they had to sort of like protect you in those situations. But I think as well that they were basically just saying like sometimes, because you can sense and pick up on certain energies, like sometimes you just shouldn't necessarily overlook. You shouldn't necessarily overlook certain things as well, right? There you go, right? Because they're saying that sometimes they try and sort of like let you know that they're trying to sort of like help you out. You know, like you said, you pulled over in that instance with the situation, because that's what they were saying. Like, I had to catch up on the video. I paused and it lagged. Yeah, that part. That part, beautiful. Sorry, because I was like, literally, I just put the crystal down as well. I was like coming out of this space because I was starting to get a headache. Because obviously I'm not able to like soundboard, like I said, so the download isn't able to sort of flow. You know what I mean? So I literally just got out of a headache just the other day, like maybe 2 days ago. So I wasn't really trying to go back into processing grass. So forgive me. Maybe I was premature. But I know that you had issues with lagging last time. That's why I was asking if you were sort of like having the lagging problem. They also are sort of like, they were speaking about as well times where you times where you feel like saying no to situations, right? And I don't want to say times because that's so vague. Come on, guys. Like, give me a for instance, there was a time as well where you were invited to I don't know if it was a party or a gathering or some sort of event, but um that didn't necessarily go too well. I guess that didn't necessarily go too well. That was recent as well, that situation that they're speaking about, as far as like an invite that you recently had. The energy there was just off. It was just off. It was just off completely. Like they're saying that it wasn't a full force as far as like a full-fledged like malevolent spirit, I guess, in the space, but it was, you know, just contention and conflict just like brewing in the air of that situation, which could have completely gone left. The machine kept not accepting my money. This was a while ago. I tried to catch the train. Oh, the machine kept not accepting my money. This was a while ago. I tried to catch the train. What'd you do then in this situation as well? Sorry. My hands. I was going to attend a party. They're like, hell no. No, you're not. What happened at the party? Did you get feedback about what sort of like transpired? And when was this? When was the party? Because they're telling me the party situation was like a recent one. All right, guys, chill out. Like they're activating like the people were phony. Yeah, the energy wasn't right. The energy wasn't right with that situation. So they were like, computer says no. Oh, this was at least 10 years ago. Yeah, no. They literally like what they're saying to me with the situation, right? For you with certain things, you tend to be recently I did have a party invite. I didn't go. Did you get any feedback on that situation? What happened? What transpired? And why weren't you able to go as well? Sorry, we're gonna I don't know if Smaradina's in the room. I haven't seen Smaradina in the chat for a minute. Melody, we've got Kayla. Kayla, I know, is in the chat. She's been nice enough to sort of moderate as well from time to time. No, the person has been selfish. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Melody's here. Snaps for Melody. Okay, we like that. I think what I'm going to say to you as well, with times as well, where you've actually been protected in a situation is there, I don't know, there was somebody that was speaking negatively of you, and they actually removed you from that space while the person was actually speaking behind your back, and then kind of unmasked the person whilst you were in isolation. Is that how it went, guys? Yeah. I'm not sure who that is. I'm not sure if it's a friendship dynamic. It may even be a family situation, or it may be a friend that you thought you loved like family. Um, yeah, yeah. Well, they're saying to me that there was somebody that was like speaking behind your back. They removed you from that situation, and there's things with that situation where I guess you'll hear. You'll hear. Who have you cut off recently? Let's start there. Let's start there. Who have you cut? Are you practicing? What were we talking about? The luminous star seed. You're here. Oh, a guy. In what capacity? Was it a guy that you were sort of like thinking about romantically? Because there's some stuff coming back. You're going to be getting some universal feedback, right? Masks are coming off, I guess, for the most part. He was playing games. He was playing games. He was playing games. Yeah. Girl, that's the situation. I keep seeing his name. I keep seeing his name. Interesting. Interesting. Well, that's the situation. Obviously, you cut him off. He was playing games, so obviously he was telling you one thing and he was telling people another thing. That dynamic. So they disrupted that channel. You don't need to go back into that space. You probably keep seeing his name, I guess, because he's still kind of like exiting. How recent was that situation? Sorry. Very recent. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're still getting that out of your system, beautiful. And he's also still getting it out of his system, even if he was playing game. Like nobody likes to be the loser of the game that they're playing. You know what I mean? It takes their ego a while to be able to recover. So, Brute's egos in these streets, sometimes they send like, as they're dying, I guess they send like, I don't know how to put it out there. They send like feedback out there into the universe. They're trying to kind of like see what energy they can sort of like consume and draw back in to be able to substantiate itself. So do yourself a favor, girl, and praise Jesus, hallelujah. You ain't there no more. Sorry. I'm sorry. I can't take these things seriously. I'm the same way with my own life, bro. I hope you don't take it personal because I literally have the same sort of like dynamic with myself about my own situation. Okay. Yeah, he was about BS. He was about BS. And they helped to remove you from that situation. Quick and fast. Look at that. Quick and fast. Oh, what did I do there? Why is that a thing? Oh, is that gonna be a thing? Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. We got some set issues. I can't even take me seriously. So I told him to stop the nonsense. Well, he wasn't being honest, that part, right? That part. And that had nothing to do with you. So he's just gonna have to take that up with God. Okay. But those are some of the times that they've like, you know, protected you recently. Smaradina, darling, are you here? And Mina, don't worry as well, my love. We've got Cheney moderating in the chat because I know like the kids have got school, potentially in the morning. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Mm. Listen to those downloads though, because like sometimes your body lets you know, like, no, this isn't a thing. And just sit with that. Just rest in that sometimes. Okay. Moradina, I'm not sure if you're here. Thanks, love. I will leave. Kids have school tomorrow. I sense that. I sense that. The guys were like, Mina has to go. Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate you. I receive all of the health gems. I'm open to receiving those, my love. Okay, so did you see me taking it? I was like, really? I was like, oh. I had to take it to receive those blessings, Mina. Listen, it's tough out here in these human streets. Right. Who do we have? Melody, right? Melody. Smeridina hasn't been in the chat for some time. So, Melody, are you here, love? You did sort of let us know that you were here not too long ago. So, I'm hoping that you're still here so we can unpack your stuff. And then I'm going to pin the list actually, just so that I don't lose it. There we go. Awesomes. Okay. Why Yanis can't make up his mind about me? Oh, girl. The question of the century, right? Decisions. Bear with me, beautiful. I'm going to come back to your question. OMG, speaking of downloads, this is from Shaylee. OMG, speaking of downloads. Bye, Mina. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for sharing your lovely energy with us. I'm realizing that I have received some that have really started pulling me out of that despicable hole of what me depression garbage I was stuck in. Oh, that's what's up. I can keep track of it too. Yeah. Oh, that's what's up, Chaylee. I love that. No, honestly, and I get that as well. I get that. I get the, I feel like my vibration kind of went like this recently throughout this week, like for the whole week, I want to say though. It wasn't like Sunday hit me and it was like, right, girl, get ready for the week. And I was like, a baby being born for the first time and my butt got slapped and I was like, whoa, what? I started crying. Okay, I was releasing unexpected and unbeknownst. So I agree with you in that space. There's been a lot of realizations about some of the strongholds that depression's actually had. And I feel like the guides have definitely been dropping gems, particularly on the spirit of depression and the layers in between. So that's what's up. I'm glad that you were receiving those gems, girl. Snaps for you on that one, because I'm telling you, when I came out of my recent depression, I was like, there was a lot in there. Like, I can, when you like you go into the battle and you're like, and this is how you're fighting, right? You're fighting them demons and you're like, and they're hitting you back, right? And then you come out and you're breathing and you're breathing. It feels like that's what depression is like. Because for me personally, I can't breathe too much with depression, right? My chest is so tight and heavy when I've got it. But when you get the gems, you're like, really? I can do what? And then you start like, that's what it feels like. Then you start fighting your demon like this. You're like, I'm sorry, I'm animated, but honestly, in my mind, that's what it feels like. Okay? Because I challenged my self-sabotage demon and it got me back by teaming up with my insecurity about lack of acceptance. Okay, so I wasn't ready for that combo, but the depression of it all really, really did teach me some stuff. I was stuck there for a minute. You told me about that phase though last year. Dang, you warned me and told me not to lose the light at the end of the tunnel because it was going to be a severe one. Yeah, girl, I'm telling you. No, honestly, I'm like, telling you. It's intense in these human streets. It's intense. Okay. But yeah, that's what it feels like. I feel like they're like, no, give him an uppercut. Technically, they're doing this. Oh, if you do this, then you can do that. And I'm like, yes, team, yes. And then that part in the fight where you feel like you're winning, and then you get gassed, and you're like, and then they're actually like consuming all of the energy to come back and be like, boom, and you're like, oh, sorry. It's a whole thing. I feel like I went through that this week, just gone. Okay. And I'm like, like after the facts, right? After the facts, and we both get up, and then like, we go to our separate ends of the ring, and I'm like, yeah, you learned something about me. I'm telling you, I need to stop doing that. Actually, I need to stop antagonizing my demons, because when they come back and they team up and they, come and they're like, okay, we're going to take it to the next level. I'm never ready. Just blow a handful of pixie dust glitter in their faces and then laugh and walk away. Works like a charm every time. Honestly, I'm telling you, I need to stop. I antagonize them. That's my thing. It's like I'm shocked. I'm shocked whenever I survive the battlefield. So then I get like real, I think I'm out here like in these streets like that. Like I act like I'm really bad, but I'm really not. I'm like a pussycat. I'm like, please don't do that to me. But then I say it with my big girl voice, and then they believe me. And then I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Oh, it was a whole treat this week, honestly. So that part of myself told myself to stop antagonizing my demons. So yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. But it was an interesting class. So I'm glad, on that note, that you got some real good downloads, girl. And I'm glad that you were able to come out on the other side of that, actually. Mashallah. Snaps for that. We love that. We love that. Anytime you can get onto the other side of a tunnel, man. Okay. Melody, back to your question, girl. Sorry, we got sidetracked. We do that over here. I hope you're still with us. Okay. Good. There we go. Glad you kept with, all of the battles of it all. I mean, you were navigating through a battle just now, trying to get your reading, girl. Okay. Why Yanis can't make up his mind about Melody? I think Melody wants to know what's Jonas's sort of like resistance. What's the indecision about at the minute? Is this a third party situation, Melody? I have to ask you that situation because they're showing me that there may be more to the situation, which is why it's not that straightforward. Luminous Starseed, you should see me when I'm by myself, girl. Okay? I'm literally the same with my own self. No, sometimes I literally do actually fight my demons like that, where I'm like, I can feel it activating genetically and like shifting the physiology. And I'm like literally fighting them. I'm like, leave me alone. Not today. And then I get upset. I'm like, oh, I was trying to do something today, man. He's engaged, but I'm wondering why he can't just come towards me if he loves me. Okay. It's not that simple. She is literally the best. Oh, thank you, Shaylee. I'm glad that you guys actually you guys humor me, okay? Because I literally am like this with myself. And then when I come in here, I never know how much of me to share. Because like I said, I'm very animated. I can't help myself. But yeah, the third party situation is a key factor into why he's not able to just outright make a decision like that. I know it feels simple to you because love is love, right? Um, but it's so much more complicated than that, my love. Okay, I'm gonna really unpack it with the cards to kind of like put it into context for you. But yeah. Okay. Oh. Mm, yeah. Yeah. Um, being completely honest with you, beautiful. Moving forward, there doesn't seem to be a reconciliation or a reunite for you guys on the cards in that essence. Um, with the with the situation, right? What they're showing me is that this was a karmic situation first and foremost. This started off as a karmic situation. Were you guys in a little bit of a break period or downtime in your interaction with each other when this person was introduced to the dynamic? Answer that for me, Melody, because they're showing me like this was a karmic situation that is now kind of like, it's almost like, no, I pushed him away. Yeah. So were you before the now engagement? Okay. No, I pushed him away and told him to find someone else, which I'm assuming that's what he did, and now they're engaged. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the karma that you're sort of like having play out in this situation. Um, I don't know how else to put it to you, my love. Unfortunately, I don't think he's coming back into the space. And I want to give you a hug so bad. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, my love. I know that you weren't necessarily like in a place where you could like really accept him at the time and the like capacity of love that he was willing to pour into you at the time when you guys were with each other. You have to deal with the karmic consequences of that decision, my love. I'm sorry, because they're showing me like even moving forward, there is no reunion. There will be setback basically to any direction or any sort of new ideas with the situation. Um, I do think that when you made that decision, then you set a series of motion in play, and karmically, unfortunately, it's playing outside of your control to the point where they had to move past resentment to even get to that place, to let themselves be open to something else. And in all honesty, I don't know that they trust you to be able to love them healthily. I think that that's still a sore spot for them. Um, and that's also another reason why I guess unfortunately their team won't necessarily, their walls are up basically. Their team won't let them back in the space per se. You have to deal with the consequences of that karmic decision, I'm afraid. um, I'm going to ask them about what their guidance is for you, because I think the whole point of this karmic offset is for you to basically flourish a guilty conscience from a place of regret. And that guilty conscience is going to allow you to grow into a place where you can be open for the next person who is willing to actually pour into you. And I'm going to say this to you: you won't find anybody else that has the same chemistry with you as he did. And you won't necessarily find anybody else that has like his level of caring nature. I'm not going to lie. You will find somebody who does, care about you to some degree, and they're able to kind of like expand their own selfish tendencies to care about you even more in places that isn't natural for them to observe, like somebody else before themselves as well. But this person is seeded as a karmic decision of the one who got away, in the sense of right person, wrong timing, to almost propel you into a fast track course of learning how to open yourself up to love and being able to be receptive to love when it is being poured into you. Right. And I understand at the time you were going through some stuff, you were hurt, the coming back thing I can't speak on, because from what I'm seeing, the inevitable is for him to continue down the path that he's on at the minute. But what I will ask is, what is you guys' advice for Melody in navigating the situation in this case? What do you guys advise? Thank you. There is no recovery. It actually came out in reverse. So there is no recovery. This isn't necessarily a path to abundance for you. What you guys had is what you guys had. And who he is today, as much as he still possesses a lot of the qualities of the person that you appreciated when you guys were together, he's also grown some. And he's not the same person that he even was when he was with you as well. He has a lot more boundaries that he's learned how to build himself as well. He's learned how to use his voice in terms of his dynamics, in terms of relationship. And he's also learned how to be able to find that balance with being able to cater to what his partner needs, but also hold himself accountable to his own needs as well. So in all honesty, this is a firm no, my love. And I have to give it to you like that, because on all aspects of the situation, it's showing a no. Bear with me. That's my bae. Bear with me, y'all. That part, y'all. But yeah, thank you, Melody. I think if anything, the one thing that I would say to you is accept the decision that you made. The girl who made that decision then knows why she made that decision then. And the woman that you're still growing into will be able to appreciate your why in having made that decision then. You're not going to be able to feel comfortable about it whilst you're going through the process of the journey, but I think once you start to move, yeah, well, everything is okay. Bay doesn't usually call during my lives, but I don't think he realized that I was actually going to be on live today, because I wasn't sure, because the cycle and everything. I know that I'm like whispering, like my body knows what it's going through, right? But I feel like it hasn't fully activated just yet, because I'm going through a little bit of a place at the minute, and I wasn't sure what I was going to be doing. So Bay didn't know that your girl was actually doing the live at the minute. But as well, I think obviously he just wanted to check in and let me know that he's cool and he's home and like works over, and he's in a space, he's in a vibe, I guess. But yeah, I really do hope oh, Melody, don't be sad, my love. Oh, I feel bad. Like, I can tell that it's not, it's not the best news, but it's not the worst news, because you already made the decision. You know what I mean? All you're doing now is just holding faith to that decision. And your faith walk with that decision is continuing to unveil to you and unravel why it was a necessity then. Okay? I'm sorry though. Bluetooth cuddles. Oh, I'm going to give you a virtual squeeze. There you go, beautiful. You get a little as well. Okay. But yeah, no. Okay. We've got Kayla next. Thanks, Shaylee. Thanks for checking in, girl. Speaking of you, sorry, I'm going back into the list. Shirley said, speaking of you, you have been doing so good with that being comfortable in your beautiful human suit, just as you so amazingly are. Oh, I'm proud. Thank you, Che. Oh, you gonna make me cry, girl. I'm doing an inside cry. Because I cried so much throughout the week, I kind of like optimized, like when you're adults, like I'm good. So I'm like optimized. The cries aren't gonna just come straight out at the minute, but I'm doing an inside cry. Like that really touched me. I'm still getting comfortable with her because I really got triggered this week about like the fear of acceptance thing, and then I had to go into this process of like accepting me in all of my weirdness. And I was like, wow, because I have another like spiritual sister who's she's actually navigating through the process as far as like her religion class in Islam. I've ventured in that space and context, and I find that a little bit more comfortable, to be fair. But where Christianity in some cases can be so rigid, I'm navigating through one of like the tense intensities with that class because it's Jehovah's Witness. So you would think there's a lot of rigidity there, but I'm actually getting a phase 2 on that situation. I had to learn how to really actually accept myself, and that went down to like a 4-year-old core belief, like my 4-year-old self who was basically seeing spirits, trying to vocalize to people and tell people what she was seeing, and just basically being told she was being gaslit. Basically, people were like, no, that's not what's happening, like don't do that, stop talking, all that kind of stuff. And now I had to go and have that conversation with 4-year-old self and let her know that her words are valid, and I hear her, and I see her, and I understand what she was trying to do, basically. And I appreciate her for actually even being vocal. Snap, because I'm like, girl, it takes some fearlessness to like see a demon and say, hey, I see you. Okay. Hey, Ariana, glad to know that you're here, beautiful. I can tell when you're having a harder time than not. And thank you for being here with us tonight. Yeah, I'm having, girl, listen, human class at the it's been intense. You know how last time, right? When the last like demon that projected at me in this space was like, get a job, and I was like, I got a job. Guess what happened to my job? Said job is now playing the funny business. We're in an interim contract process because I'm like a freelancer. Because I prefer to be self-employed. I actually just like to know that I have the flexibility to kind of like choose how I engage with business. And that situation, like, just kind of like, obviously at this point, me and God are preparing to manifest my next version, right? And this is what I was saying to you guys earlier about my old self's already dead. She just hasn't attended the funeral yet. Like, we need to bury her and, see her off nicely. But I have to find the appropriate timeline to anchor to before I can like officially, give everybody their opportunity to come and wish her well. Okay, when she comes, guys, when it's time, I'm gonna let you guys know, and we can, have a ceremony for her because new self is coming in. Trust me, like spirit has so many. Like I told you guys, springtime, I was going to be like navigating through manifesting some stuff for us during spring. It's coming. It's coming. I'm just optimizing in certain areas at the minute, so keep an eye out that part. Yes, that part. Okay. I know you are exhausted and having a hard time. I love and appreciate you more than you like. Oh, thank you, Chaley. Seriously, yes, I have seen huge growth within you since. Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate you. You too, girl. Like, I was literally thinking to myself, like, obviously, because I was like, battling against the odds to sort of like come into this space. Yeah, Luminous. We have chats out here. Like, y'all are really my people. Oh, thank you, Katie. Kayla did throw her question out there, so if you don't mind, I'm going to pose her question first. Come back to your donation and check it, and navigate back onto the list. But yeah, it's definitely been like I'm breaking some generational patterns at the minute as well. The lack of acceptance thing actually went back to my great grandmother. How about that? So I'm optimizing like deep cellularly at the minute as far as like my tissue, um, so that the tissue memory can, transpire out of what it's known to be the norm into something better. So we shall see. We shall see. Wish me luck, guys. Wish me luck. But yeah, I think it's just one of those situations. At the minute where I think it's just a lot for the collective in general because we're starting new cycles, right? There's so much newness like that God's actually planting in us at the minute within the collective. So I'm excited. I mean, we shall see. I don't want to say nothing to antagonize none of my demons. That's my natural like quality. I was about to start singing a track, right? I was about to start, and I don't want to antagonize them. I'm gonna be humble. I'm gonna be humble. Because that's what I do every time. Okay. Oh, hell yeah, girl. I'm trying. Okay. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Oh, dude. Oh, I love you guys, man. I love you guys. Sorry. I'm wiping all the tears from the inside cry because I'm really doing some deep inside cry. It's just because you guys, I optimized my human. Like, I really had to do some optimizing of like my child self. She was unraveling in the last week. So I tucked her back in. But I'm really doing an inside cry. I can feel. Okay. So Kayla's question, going back into it. If you're still in the building, oh, Shaylee, I'm gonna stick a pin in that one, girl. Okay, because I've been. It's almost like while I'm trying to like optimize and navigate. This is why all of this optimizing is happening so quickly as well. It's because their imminent arrival is kind of like spiraling and speeding up the process of all of these assignments that I've been like, I don't think I was in class that day. You know what I mean? And God's like, "Where's your homework?" I'm like, "You gave what assignment? I don't know if I was here that day. I think I was sleeping. I was under depression. That's it. I was under depression that day. Depression had me hard. I don't think I got the memo. Yeah. Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. But I'm so nervous. I'm so anxious and I'm like tightening up like this, but I'm learning how to flex like this. All right. I'm learning how to flex like this. But I'm really like this. Which is so funny. But I tell him, I'm like, look, mommy's working on it. Okay, mommy's working on it. It's not you, it's mummy. Okay, I've got some issues. I'm working through them actively. I'm actively and proactively working through them. It's just taking a while, man. Like, I had no idea when I made that oath that I was going to be doing work for like a whole, what, 2 decades? I didn't know that that's what I was signing up for. But yes, Kayla, Archangel Shamuel, can I get some assistance back to Kayla's question? I saw it not too long ago. Hopefully, there we go. D, next actions towards me. No contact, but he keeps reacting to my posts. Oh, this is another aspect as well for Divine Feminine, where the guys are on this, I don't want to say creepy thing, but that's how it's coming off. Like at this point of the journey, like Divine Feminines are like somewhat observing it, like, dude, quit watching me from a distance. You're giving me stalker vibes. You know what I mean? Mm. Okay. What are D's next actions towards Kayla. Oh, interesting. He went waiting. Okay. His stuff is like right on the top of his chest, boy. He's not even having to think about it too hard. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Sorry, I'm gonna show you what I saw, right? This would be the King of Pentacles in the Witch's Tarot. Okay. This would be his tablet looking at you. Okay, girl? Some more of that action. I'm sorry. It tickled me. Sorry. Let me take it serious. Sorry. I can't help myself, man. No, that's interesting though. So, no coming forward per se, but there's almost like a how can I put it? What's the right word to use? No coming forward because it feels like it may be like not necessarily something that could potentially work right at this minute. So it's almost like there isn't really a coming forward about the desire to maybe connect on a romantic level and really sort of give that situation a go per se, because I don't think that, I guess you guys have the same sort of like value system when it comes to that situation. But they are going to be generous enough to check out your stuff on social media. I think as well for them, right? There's this dynamic with the situation where it's almost like the best way to navigate the space at this point is to be self-sufficient, is to be like self-sustaining, is to kind of, I guess allow for the situation to be a independent thing where you guys are separate from each other. But I think that there's an attraction there. I just think that they're not necessarily going to be coming forward. I don't think you guys have the same value system when it comes to like what you guys are looking for. Communication at all. Sorry, I'm like working through the cards to see the next layer of that dynamic, because to some degree, okay. Yeah, I do think you guys have different things in life. Oh, he's my ex. Oh, okay. You were telling me stuff throughout the process. Sorry. He's my ex. Dating my best friend. So I'm curious as to what he wants with me. Yes, I love it. Do you see any communication at all? Yeah, I think we have different things we want in life, like different mindsets at this point. Yeah. I don't necessarily think that. I think it's more of a case of being like methodical about how to be able to sort of like come forward. I think that they've learned some stuff actually. I think that by them not coming forward, it's actually supposing to be some sort of like sign of respect that they've grown. I think that they're kind of like showing you that they've grown respect of your boundaries in essence, where they're not just like inserting themselves, but I think also they're kind of like checking the temperature to kind of like see. I think that they're being methodical with the situation. Will there be communication, like actual, like, okay, we're not talking about you stalker vibe. We mean like actual communication. Okay. no Joe-ish, actual communication. Okay. Okay, within it's like a slow moving process, because I didn't think that this was something that was going to be. See how I was telling you, like there's like a setting up, like being methodical about the situation. I think there's a case of testing the temperature. This is something that's going to play out for like a good few months. They're going to keep doing the looking at the tablet and seeing what's going on and observing through that context, right? But yeah, that's going to be ongoing for a few months. I mean, I'm just standing my ground because he hasn't reached out. So there's not much for me to do. Yeah. Yeah, no, there isn't really much for you to do at all. I think obviously it's one of those things. They'll kind of like pluck up enough courage over the course of the next few months once they realize like it's not like it's not as hot as they might have thought, as far as like they're just checking your temperature. Basically, they're checking your temperature to see, engage and see what the situation's like before they kind of like insert and pop up. So yeah, I think they're gonna sort of like test that situation for a good few months. I want to say at least 3 to 4 months before they actually kind of like pluck up the courage to actually be able to say something. I do think that there's a lot of the first thing, I guess, that wants to be said is like sorries. Um, but again, that's because they've gone through the Eight of Pentacles during the process of this dynamic that they've navigated through. They've really had to kind of like learn, they've had to observe the ways that they've actually like, you know, dealt with situations. So he can test the waters, but trust me, he'll drown when I reject him. Yeah, I think it's going to be a build up over a few months. I don't necessarily think it's like, you know, trying to sort of like come back into your space on a full-time basis or anything, but I think it's kind of like wanting to be able to kind of like step into the space and make apologies for the things that they've learned. You know, they could have handled situations better in ways. So that part. Okay. Right. I hope that that was useful for you there, my love. He knows I'm in a long distance relationship. Yeah. Yeah. That part too. Definitely checking the temperature, boy. So I guess that's why he wants to test the water. Hell yeah. You don't want to throw himself into the lion's den. He's got to check and see if the lion's at home first. That part. Okay. He's got to check and see if the lion's at home. And if so, what's his escape route? Okay. What do we have? I think Katie donated. So I think Katie's next, because that was the process, if I'm not mistaken, right? That was the process of what is going down. Down. Sorry, I can't. Sometimes I have to catch myself. I just let my thoughts wander. But yes, Katie. Um, give us your question. Throw it at us. Thank you for your question as well, Kayla. I appreciate you, my love. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So after Katie, we've got Ariona and Shaylee, and we are done for the night. I know that Luminous Starseed was in here as well. I don't know if Luminous wants to join the free list in place of, I think Smoradina's not here, so Melody's already had a go, Kaylee's had a go. Ariona and Shaylee are next. If Luminous wants to get in on the list, they can go after Shaylee. Good stuff, beautiful. Thank you for sitting in, Shaylee. Don't worry, I got you, girl. I got you. Right. Interesting. Let's talk about the changes coming up for KT this year. Oh, and interestingly, I can already see your solar plexus is going to be working almost overtime during this phase, boy. So, yeah. Mm. What's your plans about relocating, Katie? What is your plans? Of course, I look forward to those every week. Oh, yes, I'm learning to refocus on myself and let people handle their other issues. I do want to move towards the end of the year. That's one of the fun. Everything that you're doing, sidebar, everything that you're doing is kind of like leading up towards that, but the actual like move in itself happens sometime around about October, November is really where that starts to actually like I see you being able to I feel like October is when the starting of the packing up and all of that kind of stuff starts to happen. When I try to help those who don't want to help themselves, I get burned. That part. Focus now is on relocating. Yeah, well, that is definitely one of the changes because you're putting that energy out there, you're putting your energy into that space. It's going to manifest. It's just going to take some time. Obviously, right circumstances aligned can sometimes take a little bit of, workings behind the scenes. So that situation is going to be able to sort of like manifest itself towards the final quarter of the year because I'm seeing September really onwards is when that situation um I want to say moves. Like right now, it feels like it's more a case of strategizing and planning in between now and September. And September, for some reason, it feels like it's more feasible. From then onwards, where okay, things starts to move forward, right? What are some of the factors that may be sort of like the delay to that seed at the minute then? Sorry, because they're like showing me in between now and then there's like a whole 6 months where everything kind of like has to it's like a farming, isn't it? Because obviously you set the intention and then you have to go through the process of weeding out what isn't necessarily aligning. So what are some of the variables to that situation at the minute that is causing for it to be unhinged as far as stabilizing? Because one of the things that they're showing me is that I guess, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's all the way feasible right now. I'm gonna wait for your response. Are we lagging again, Katie? I just have to check because I know we have a tendency with this situation and dynamics, so I just have to check, basically. I'm not ready to move. There you go. There you go. There you go. Exactly. Exactly. I'm on my laptop now. Okay. 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 Yeah. So it seems a little bit more feasible towards the end of the year. Right. I think by then it feels like things actually align for you by around about that time. Um yeah, I feel like your new life starts to present itself to you. Um I feel like the relocating also it may have some sort of job situation to do with it as well. Yeah, I think it actually might come along with the job. I think the move may be triggered by a job situation, um, which is why some of the details are still being worked out behind the scenes. So you kind of have to, hmm, yeah, you kind of have to navigate that space pretty much over the course of the next few months. But I do see that things get to a place by September, where it starts to feel feasible. And then things happen real quick between October and November, where it happens. It seems like I feel like by November, the move happens. But yeah. So that's one of the major changes that I guess is likely to occur for you this year. Another change that I spoke about in that situation was work. Where are you now with your current situation? How do you feel about it in terms of work? What's the dynamic for you? Are you looking or open to anything new in that space? Because that's something I feel like things are coming slow. Yeah, I feel like things are coming slow. Yeah, I think the uh, work situation is this area feels stagnant. Hmm. Maybe there might be some stuff that you need to be able to kind of like move through as well in that area. Because I know basically God lets me know all the time that why He hasn't blessed me just yet in certain areas, like, is because I'm still optimizing in finance class. He's like, you are a poor decision maker when it comes to your finances, girl. I'm like, huh? I'm like, but I just want to do this, and it's not like that, obviously, like I can overextend myself basically to assist others. Like, I have a charity side of my business where I also send children to school in Uganda and stuff like that. So I can overexert my energy basically. So God tells me all the time that He says I mean well, but I'm poor with my ability to make decisions. I've been staying inside lately, but I'm ready to go out. Yeah. I see that more so sort of manifesting, I want to say sort of next month. I'm not saying that, you don't kind of like start really moving through that process this month, but I see like next month is really where that actually becomes like a thing where you kind of get into some sort of rhythm in terms of what it is that you want to do whilst you're out, and how you want to spend your time while you're out, and just kind of like getting into your social butterfly element. But work situation is something that is going to be, I want to say that doesn't pick up until around about like July times, to be fair. Okay. So yeah, that's something to look out for as well. I think that there'll be like a influx situation that kind of happens in July, that kind of starts the trajectory rolling through to August and September. I've not been hanging out with some people starting fresh. Good for you, girl. Yeah, good for you. That's another thing as well, obviously. I think next month you'll start to feel a little bit more like your social calendar is actually starting to pick up some. You know what I mean? It's not so like dead, if you will. Manor. I guess once we get to Ariona and Shaylee, once we go through their questioning, we'll see where I'm at then as well, because I did offer a reading to Lumina Starseed, but I don't know if she's here. So maybe you can have Smaradina's reading. Okay. Um, but yeah. So those are two key areas that are going to be sort of like going through a little bit of a change. But like I said, it is a slow moving process. The situation, as far as, I don't want to call it work. I don't know what your dynamic is like in terms of work, but it just feels like career situation picks up, I guess, around about July times. I want to say around about the third week of July onwards is really where it picks up. And then that's what kind of spirals things to start getting into motion in September. Okay. So, yeah, those are two key areas that I see sort of brewing developmentally. behind the scenes. They're not really showing me anything much on romance class, to be honest. They're like, and that class is, that has to be sit. That's basically the way that they're telling me. A lot of the stuff to do in that area is like a lot of delays and sort of like having to secure the right timing for certain things. So that space they can't really say much about. It's kind of like an as and when case by case situation throughout the year is what they're saying to me with that. But you can expect some changes with the relocating situation sort of coming up as a high probability towards the end of the year. And um, I guess career, finance, work situation starting to optimize around about midpoint of the year, July time. I guess third week July onwards. Okay. Hope that that was useful for you. At least you got a couple of timelines there to sort of like work with. Hmm. I think, sorry, I think the relocation thing may be a collective thing, but there may be other factors and variables to the situation that is going to be determined um, based on what starts to spiral during July, basically. Okay, as far as mum's decision. Um, but you'll have a high likelihood and probability by November times, as far as your move, October, November times. Who do we have on the list next? We've got Ariona, beautiful. I hope that that was useful for you, BTW. Um, we've got Ariona next on the list. Whew, what have we got? What are you? Yes, please, beautiful. Please do your post. Okay. Makes sense. Ancestors told me things are coming, be patient. I get impatient, time ticking. Girl, you and me both. You and me both. Okay. Hold on. Let me do that. Okay. Um, okay. Yeah, beautiful. Just hang in there on the patience class because yeah. Time is only a delusion created by the Homo sapien construct. That part, right? That part. You get locked into it and then you think, oh my God, I've missed something. Like, no. You're literally where you're supposed to be. I literally had to have that conversation with myself, like when I was licking my wounds recently. I was like, girl, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Chill out. Okay. All this stuff you're being impatient for, you don't even want. That's why you haven't got it yet. That's why the journey is still unfolding. Like, quit lying to yourself. Um, so another tarot reader said that for my birthday, it might not go exactly as planned. I might choose a different location. Will it be that I choose a different mall or a different restaurant, etc. Right? But it could also be that I might end up choosing to go to the arcade over the movie theater or vice versa, but I want to know what it is. So basically, we're all just out here confessing to our impatience, right? And we're just like, love me as I am. Oh, that's too funny. Okay. Oh no, you're good, beautiful. That tickled me. That tickled me. I'm trying to get up out of this space. No, I get you, beautiful. I get you on that. I get you on that. Moderation, patience, and moderation. That's all it is. Because you have to be patient for certain things. Like the moment where you're going to get like the out of there, like all of this energy that you have, that's what's going to give it like the quick turnaround as far as the yes. But you've got to be patient with the process of coming to that yes point, right? Because when the yes point happens, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm not ready. Oh, you know, that part. Um, but yes. Okay, so what's your question then, Ari? You want to know the variables potentially that could not necessarily go in your favor? Is that what we're asking? Just so that I'm clear. Ooh, that one caught me. Hmm. Sorry, I'm waiting for Ariana to sort of like confirm with me. Am I sort of like trying to get clarity for her on what? Okay, okay. Thank you, beautiful. Thank you. I thought so. I thought as much. Okay, so um what she's speaking about as far as like the things not necessarily sort of like going your way per se, these things that you're speaking about are variables that are within your control, like the decision on whether or not you go to the movie theater or whether or not you go to, okay, so movie theater, for instance. So one of the things that they're showing me, movie theater, for instance, an obstacle that you're likely to face there is not making it in time for the movie that you want to be able to see. If you go into that dynamic or that situation, right? With the arcade situation, you'd have a good time there. That would be a dope little situation experience. Um, Again, in that space. So basically, what you're navigating through in this space is kind of like, how can I put it? How can I put it? It's like solar return magic. That's probably the best way that I can put it. It's solar return magic, right? Going through your experience on your birthday is like all the variables that are within your control versus the variables that aren't necessarily within your control. So those are some of the things. Murphy's law basically shall activate itself and reveal itself to you. Anything that can go wrong, in theory, will. So movie time was one of the things that they showed me being a factor with the arcade situation, with the movie situation, arcade situation. What they're showing me with that dynamic is potentially like a bumping into and spillage and like inconvenient situation, basically. So that one, yeah. Um, I would say I would choose the movie, I guess, over that one. I thought the arcade situation was there, but I think what I saw there was like unintentional, sort of like an unintentional spillage sort of situation. I see somebody sort of like spilling something unintentionally, and that's not necessarily, that kind of like ruins the situation after the fact, basically. Um, Whereas the movie situation, they're showing me that that situation is not as bad as it seems, because the delay doesn't mean denial. There's just, oh, I missed like 10-15 minutes type thing, right? So I think from what I'm seeing in the situation, it's more so variables that are likely to just kind of, hey, Smartina. Oh, you fell asleep. Oh, beautiful. Oh, don't worry. I mean, we kind of moved on, but don't worry. Yeah. That part, Shaylee, right? I'm an arcade gal as well. I love the arcade. Um, but yeah. Should I ask a tarot question? No, that's the aspect of the situation. So going to the movie theater situation, expect to be basically a little bit late for the movie. Going to the arcade situation, expect an unforeseen accident, basically. Those are your two options. Basically, as far as like the options that you've got going, the restaurant situation, that's fine. That's fine. I think service may be a little bit slow, but outside of that, that's about the only thing that you have to worry about in that space. I think service may be a bit slow in the food situation, which that may have been the thing that causes the hindrance to being delayed with the movie situation. But like I said, delay doesn't mean denial. So those are some of the variables with the situation. But if you do go to the arcade, you're likely to have an accident that's going to make you feel like you're not cute, basically. What I see is spillage. What I see is spillage. I don't know why someone has something. I'm not going to say that they're not supposed to have, but they have. I don't want to say it's a drink, but for all intents and purposes, it's a drink, right? And that situation is what I'm seeing, that there's spillage, and that then kind of like puts a dampener on the situation, right? Yeah. So choose your timelines wisely, basically, is what I'm saying. That's what I was going to do for my birthday the year that COVID hit on March 15th, the day before my birthday. Oh, girl. And everything shut down, and then we all went down the rabbit. Oh. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry, beautiful. For my birthday instead. Oh, Jaylee, I'm giving you a little pat. Gosh. Yeah. So not a different mall location. No, your situation's okay with the mall situation that you've got going. The more situation that you've got going. I think it's just one of those things where you have to time everything precisely. These things kind of like happen quite a bit. So when, like I said, when she was speaking about things not necessarily going your way entirely, Murphy's Law, you have to, I guess, not all the time, but just be cognizant of the fact that anything that can go wrong will. It's just the way that the universe works in logic. You know, if there's a blind spot, it wants to fill it. Just to kind of like bring awareness to itself. So I would say do movie and do the dinner and movie on one day. Okay, we can have this be like a whole birthday vibe. Hopefully I won't be too hungry when I'm waiting for my food though. Yeah, well, I don't know. Hangry is actually a thing. I'm glad it's just slow service and not anything like getting, no. It's not anything like that. It's not anything like that. It's more so slow service, kind of like delaying the process actually. They get a warm time on their hands as far as like, you know, the scale. You can do the arcade thing as well, maybe even sort of like a continuum the day after, or maybe kickstarting things the day before. Okay. everything on that same day may be a little bit more, liable and susceptible to Murphy's Law. So just be mindful of that. Okay. Do you see me choosing the Hibachi or Cheesecake Factory? Like what kind of restaurant? In all honesty, to be fair with you, I actually saw it being, I didn't see it necessarily being, hold on, sorry, I'm going to look and see what the Hibachi restaurant sort of like, because I did see a restaurant in my mind's eye. So I'm going to go back in on Googler, because Google's stuff like that. Okay. Hibachi. I'm going to have a look and see what it looks like. Right. Okay. And then I'm gonna go to Cheesecake Factory. Sorry. You know when you gotta like see how timelines measure up, right? Cheesecake Factory has a slow service. Cheesecake Factory has a slow service. So from the dynamic of what I saw in my mind, because basically it was this layout in terms of, that's why I wanted to look at the restaurants and compare the two, because the layout was how I saw it in my mind as far as yeah. So Cheesecake Factory is off, the Hibachi it is then. And then I guess movies afterwards. Right? Yeah. Because that's going to be a hindrance to your situation. That's just their natural rhythm. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you want to do movies after that, you will have to give them a whole bunch of time for Cheesecake Factory to get their stuff together to avoid any sort of delays to your situation after the fact. So, yeah. Cheesecake Factory, that's going to cause a hindrance to your movie plans, right? So if you want to do hibachi or seafood, when I checked out hibachi, that wasn't the restaurant that I saw in my mind's eye that was showing me like the delayed service. That's why I said Cheesecake Factory. When I looked at Cheesecake Factory, I saw their layout, everything in the construct of that. I could see. So basically, in my mind's eye, I saw you even like talking to the waitress, and the waitress was apologizing for the delay and letting you know that she's doing her best with service, but there's a lot going on. So yeah. I for some reason doubt my messages at times. Thanks for the confirmation, universe. Yeah, that part. Send some cheesecake to us. Oh, it's gonna be good though. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be lit. You're gonna enjoy yourself. Okay, it's gonna be a whole vibe, bruh. It's gonna be a whole vibe. Okay, that part. But you're gonna have to be like cognizant. There's gonna be like some rushing in places, and you may feel like it's like they said, like things aren't necessarily going entirely your way. So your little entitled self might show up to the party. Okay, she might be tardy, but she's gonna show up. So yeah, you kind of just oh, I thought you guys were asking about the restaurant for work wise. Chaley, you were guessing. Chaley, no, I knew. Chaley, I know I was talking about a restaurant to eat at. Yes, that you are, girl. The snap. The whole lot of our avatars are. Let's get a few of, the rest of us activated so that we can be out here and just share files together. That part. I would definitely do so if I could. Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna put Cheesecake Factory out of the recommendations. Seafood or hibachi. I like the hibachi situation actually. I checked it out online. That looks lit. I think my brother actually did that. Him and his missus, they did the hibachi thing because they're foodies. They're foodies. I told you guys I'm navigating through my relationship with food. I don't even know how I feel. My food is supposed to like grow off a tree at this point, so I don't know how I feel. But I'm going to have some good seafood or Japanese food. There you go, girl. You'll have like you'll be able to handle that environment a lot better, and it will kind of lend itself to being able to kind of like navigate through the space, right? That part, hibachi, hibachi. Yes, Cheney. Oh, Smoradina. Right, we've got Cheney next on the list, but you were actually before. You were before Cheney initially. Obviously, we kind of like went on without you, but I'm glad that your guides they shook you, girl. They were like, "Wake up, Smoradina." So now that you're back, yay. If you want to throw your question out there, and then thank you, Cheney. Thank you for being patient. See, guys, we're practicing some patience. Look how we're growing. But yes. Ariana also said, sorry, there's like so much going on. So much going on. Thank you, Ariana. I hope that was useful for you. They said, you actually said, I read the reviews for Hibachi in the mall. I wanted to go, and I saw a few reviews saying they got food poisoning, so I might go to a different hibachi. Yeah, girl. That part. And then also, if you feel like this is the thing as well, right? Because people will sit there and be like, oh my God, it's still pink, but then they eat it, right? Are you liable? Or is the chef who is there cooking to your tasting in front of you liable for your own neglect? Right? That part. Because if you see that it's a certain type of way, like don't just be gassed because you're in the moment and be like, oh, I'm going to eat that. No, okay. That part as well. Because obviously we are navigating through anything that can and will go wrong. We're navigating through Murphy's Law, right? So optimize that by choosing one. Check out the reviews for another mall that's close enough, I guess, vicinity to the movie locations as well, and maybe do things that way, right? Oh, okay. We've got questions going down. Oh, dang. Where was the question? Where was your question, Luminous? Okay. Yeah, you may drop a question as well, Luminous. You may drop a question as well. Why not? But I never posted. I wanted to ask beforehand. I know, and I appreciate that. Yeah, because it gets a little bit chaotic in here, and there's only so much that Archangel Shamuel can help these little eyes to see. But I might just want to be careful what I get. That too. Definitely. Right. Thank you, Chaley, because I was like thinking, oh, dang. See, there's only so much Archangel Shamuel can do, but then you got a Chaley on your side as well. Okay, then you tag team. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna stop. Okay. Smaradina said, I decided to give Giannis a chance. How is he feeling about me, and how will be the outcome of this relationship? Thank you so much. Okay, girl. Right, let's move here first. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay, Luminous. I know Manor was asking as well if they can do a reading. Are you still here, Manor? I don't know if you're actually still around, but I figured I'd check. Luminous is going to go after Chaley. I'm doing Smoradina now, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Right? I actually was able to sort of like move through this space. I'm so glad. God is good. Won't he do it? Okay, so you were so right about what you told me. He was innocent. Yeah. I wish I remembered what I told you. It's just that I channel, I literally just let the stuff flow. And this is how you guys can know that I'm not going back and speaking on certain things. Like I literally, yeah. And over his past relationship. And over his past relationship. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that it all aligned, you know. I'm glad that, you know, the guides were able to give you the clarity that you needed to be able to make these next steps moving forward. That's awesome. Right? So update guys, Gianni's now got a chance, right? And they're moving through that space, but Smoradina now wants to know, how is he feeling about her? Firstly, let's start there. How's he feeling about her presently? Give us some indication. In the feelings department, where is he at? Okay. Oh, look, girl, that's so cute, right? Sorry, I don't know if you can see it. I'm like just bouncing it off. So he definitely feels like this is an open and honest dynamic, right? This is an open and honest situation. And when I say open and honest, I mean he struggles with his ability to communicate, but for the most part, like you make him feel safe enough to be able to kind of like, you know, speak openly. He's not all the way comfortable per se, like I said, but there is this element of feeling like he's not necessarily going to be judged, and it is a safe environment for him to be able to just express himself, right? And I think some of his concerns, I guess, about maybe where you guys might have different spiritual understandings of stuff. He's not concerned necessarily about those aspects of the situation. I think the feelings are moving him at the minute more so than anything else. That feeling of safety is actually, I guess, a little bit of a safety blanket for him. What will be the outcome, I guess, of the relationship? Because obviously they're giving love a chance. So how do you see the situation playing out? Thank you. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm like receiving the basis of it. Um, okay, so for the most part, what they're saying is just being in the friendship dynamic was actually very dissatisfying. So there's like completion of that dissatisfying feeling of like just kind of like having the base dynamic of just friends. And I think, you know, for the most part, like he really appreciates like you guys moving to this next level. I don't know if he's like put that across, but like in his heart space, like he really appreciates being able to, I guess, like take a chance on the situation and see what it could potentially bring. And they're excited to be able to kind of like now show you their affection, basically show you their affection without it feeling so restricted or feeling so like they have to overthink it all the time or what's appropriate and how they go about the process. And you know what I mean, like now it feels a little bit more free to be able to kind of like just bring all of that energy of romance to the table. What do you advise Moradina in terms of navigating through the relationship? with Gianni. What do you advise? Okay. Okay, they're saying sort of like ask for help from others. I think it's in terms of his, because he struggles, like I said, with his communication situation, and sometimes he doesn't necessarily know all the time. I think he might be a little bit intimidated by you as well, to be honest, just a tad bit. I think that it's just like the appreciation, I guess, and admiration for you. It's a little bit overwhelming and intimidating. I guess he sees your value, right? Um, so I think when they say like ask for help, um, he told you that he finds you a little bit intimidating, or he told you that like he struggles with his ability to communicate. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the thing that you're probably going to sort of like have to, I guess, find means to be able to kind of like learn him as well through people that actually both actually that part, yeah, that part. I think yeah, he, because he struggles with his communication, you're probably going to have to learn things about him through the people that he tends to find himself to be closest to as well. So do you guys have any mutual friends? Is that a dynamic for you guys? Do you know people that he knows? What's that situation? Yeah, I know some of his friends. Yeah, you're probably going to have to utilize that tool, because that's the advice, okay? Because you're going to need it, okay? But at least they hooked you up, girl. At least they know what you're working with, and they are giving you some guidance based on that, okay? So yeah, you might have to ask for help like as and when you kind of need it, because he really wants this. It's just he's scared. Like he's so scared at fumbling it. Like he doesn't want to say the wrong thing. So sometimes he just shuts down communication altogether. Because he doesn't necessarily trust himself entirely. Just he's so funny. Oh my god. I find him funny just because he's like, you know, like he wants it so bad. Do you know what I mean? Like he wants it so bad, like he can't help himself. But yeah, yeah, he's excited. You've made him happy. Okay. Ah, right? Honestly, the way it is so cute, right? It is so cute. But no, he respects you. He respects you. He'll do good. He'll do good. He'll do good. I think he'll probably have to get out of his own way eventually, and he'll learn, how to kind of like validate his own value in this space as well, like the value that he brings to the situation that you guys have got going. But yeah. Thank you, beautiful. I'm glad you woke up on time as well. I'm glad they were like, Smaradina, she's still there. I'm glad they woke you up on time as well, beautiful. Thank you for stopping back in and checking in with us, my love. I'm glad that was useful for you. Right, Shaylee, beautiful. Let's go and chop it up. Right, what do you have for me? What's the question? I really like his energy. He tickled me. Oh, dude. When somebody wants something so bad, like they just don't even trust themselves to like have it. But God's gonna work on that with him. God's gonna work on that with him, definitely. Ah, no, that's interesting though. But no. Okay, Kayleen. Um, drop your message, well, your question out there in the chat, Shaylee, and then we're going to close out the space with Luminous Starseed. And that's it. This has been like a fun night, actually. While I was going through my stuff and they were like trying to, hey, my love, Mawa. So I will. So I will save the make your brain go numb question for another time, as I feel now is not the time for numb brains. That part. That part. Thank you, Cheney. Oh God. So I shall ask about Daniel, please. Interesting. May I ask what I need to know? We're actually sort of navigating through a reading at the minute, Mara, and then we've got Luminous. And then we were actually going to close out the space. But I'll see how I feel when I sort of get round, if you're still in the room, after I do the reading for what's it, Shaylee and Luminous, because the list is closed as they're sort of putting out. Oh, thank you, my love. It's a good job I don't look like what I've been through this week then. Guys, you're doing good. Okay? Tell God to upgrade your salary. Because I'm telling you guys, I've been through it this week. Right? And I've literally had to like have the guys, thank you, beautiful. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. It's honestly, it's just one of those things where my energy's in a different place at the minute. 'Cause earlier, I guess, throughout the week, I felt like my demeanor was a little bit so. Like, oh my God, who is that girl? I can't wait for her to leave. When I looked in the mirror, you know what I mean? Did you hear that? Glowing. Yes, you are. Thank you, guys. I'm crying all day. I've been sad. I feel so lonely. Oh, are you on? Are you on BC? Snap, I'll go with you guys. Hold on. I feel like I missed like pieces of the bits and pieces in there. I'm like that. Honestly, that's how it was. I was like, oh my God, who is she? When is she leaving? How long do I have to wait while she's here? You know those? But no. Honestly, now I'm glad to be like, I feel more like myself, you know what I mean? So I'm glad. But if you stick around, Marwa, you know, I'm here to, I guess, relieve sorrow in the soul. So we'll see, right? I'll do a general read. We'll see where we are with the situation. It's been one of those weeks, so I get the crying all day because I had one of those from Tuesday right the way to Thursday. So I see you, beautiful. It's that time. Hashtag Aries new moon. In the midst of like a hashtag Virgo full moon, right? Yeah. I'm lucky. For the most part, have no symptoms on mine. I used to get knock me over severe cramps, but those have subsided for the most part. It depends on what I'm processing. So if I have a wound that's like I haven't processed in a long time, then I have like really severe cramps. If it's not like if it's a wound that I've like peeled back the layers a few times, then it's like, oh, you're good. It's like my body's like, oh, I'll spare you. You know what I mean? I'll spare you because you've gone through this one a few times. You've shed the layers of this a few times. So it's like, oh, this is thing. No, I'm not on birth control. The birth control that I'm on is on the design of God, where it's like, we're like, do we want to get pregnant this month? I don't think so. I'm not. Actually, my doctors, what they're intrigued by me. They're like, oh, why have you never been pregnant since you've actually been physically active? I'm like, you don't need to get what I meant, Bixby, because it's between me and God. Okay, I was having a whole conversation with my YouTube congregation, and you sidebarring me, trying to tell me you don't know what I wasn't talking to you, Bixby. But yes, okay. um. Oh no, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. When I was on birth control, oh my god, I felt so weird. That was what kept happening to me. Pharmaceutical meds actually throws me off. In general, to be fair, it's not something that my avatar optimizes with. Ooh, Bixby, yeah, Bixby getting into the stuff. Yes, because it screws with your system badly. It makes my it made my breast bigger. That part, I love it for that part. Wait, is she with someone? Yeah, girl. I don't get to listen. I haven't not been with someone since I got with this someone because he's my only someone for the rest of this lifetime. Every time we kind of like have like moments of like explosions of like, to go through stuff and grow and evolve and everything like that. But yeah, I've been with him for like 12 years. Before that, I was in like a 5-year relationship, but I've had a whole conversation. I'm like, Woom, okay? We've got some stuff to do. Don't let me down now. That wasn't the conversation, but I did take an oath with God when I was like 14 to basically navigate through my ancestral patterns before I actually bring like children into this reality because yeah, I don't want to bring certain spirits through. The progesterone pill works for me. Oh, I think I'm not sure what pills I was on, but I was on some pills like years and years and years ago, for a little bit, and I don't know, my body, it just threw my whole body off. I bled for like a month after that, and then I was like, oh, I don't think I want to do that again. I feel like God said to me, girl, you don't need that. You're already on my contraception. You know what I mean? He was like, you're already on my contraception. You can lay that to rest, girl. And I was like, yeah. Oh, snap. When you were talking at Bixby, at first I thought you were talking to your son. Do you know, Cheney, like sometimes when I see myself like navigating through some of my parental classes, like whenever I have my nephews and stuff like that, and then like I give them back, I sit down and I have a conversation with my son in spirit afterwards, and I'm like, look, I see all the things that mommy's still working on at the minute, and I promise you I'm gonna do better the next time I sit that class. Oh, snap. Same. I was on the shop for 10 years and didn't have a period. Those were the days I missed that. Oh, girl, listen. That part, right? Huh. Seriously, I don't know. I don't think men understand the struggles of actually like that aspect that comes along with being a woman. A lot of the times I say to Babe, I'm like, babe, you won't get it. Unless you have a womb, I can't explain it to you, man. You need a womb, and then you'll get it. It's just one of those things. Like, there's nothing like shared womb trauma, okay? Oh, gosh. Dude, no. Right. What was I? Chaley, you were going to give me your question on Daniel. Sorry, I like lost my whole train of thought for a minute there. I still have trouble being on my period, like forgetting and whatnot. That part. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess as well, like if you're not like getting, I guess, symptomatic dynamics with the situation as well, it's probably like real easy to forget, I can imagine as well, to be fair. I do remember that he's a Capricorn. I remember when the conversation came up, those are some of the stabilizing factors with the situation. Mm. Danny boy. Oh, I need to charge my phone as well, to be fair. I need to charge. Okay, we have got liftoff. Right. Definitely women struggling, Moa. Definitely. Yes, it is. So I go somewhere and don't have tampons, and I'm like, yeah, girl, you and me both. Oh, dude, I'm like, I forgot that this is a part of the. I seriously, sometimes I'm like, feels like a whole month go by and you forget how to do that class. It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys need to do regular updating. You know what I mean? Because that's a whole upkeep. It's a whole upkeep. But let's dive into the Danny Boy stuff and see what we can get from the cards, girl. See what we can get from the cards. Sorry. Sorry, we're just waiting for some question to come through. Sorry. I'm like a little bit sidetracked, I guess. Just a little bit. Hmm. Let me get the cards ready. Ooh. Sorry, I'm like in anticipation, waiting to see what's gonna come with this Daniel question. But while you do that, girl, I'm gonna grab me a snack. Type away though. Type away, okay? I'll BRB. Be right back. Okay. Oh, did you not realize, Shaylee? I was waiting for you, my love. I was waiting for you to throw your question out there at me. Mm. Mm. Interesting. We're gonna go to the hidden realms. Sorry, I love rummaging around in the hidden realms. You find a lot of gems out there as well. Sorry. Okay. I'm tired of the comics. How severe is its drug use? Okay. Let's unpack it for you, beautiful. Right. Um, Daniel's current feelings towards trading. What are his current feelings towards trading? Okay. Hmm. Interesting. What's he hiding? That's kind of manifesting as that. What's he hiding? Take us to the hidden realms, guys. Oh, do we need the energy cards? Okay. We'll start with the tarot and then we'll clarify with the energy deck. Okay, thank you. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. We chose them before we came. Just take it with a grain of salt. Never stop loving yourself and appreciate the lessons or growth that come from the interactions if we choose to embody the situation. That part, right? That part. You're good, my dear. Comics teach a lesson. Hell yeah. That's it's kind of like in the whole I guess name karma. Karma is all about like lessons essentially. It's either lessons or blessing. That's how you manifest. You get a blessing or you just get a lesson. So if there were karmic situation, I feel like that word gets thrown out in a negative connotation or context, but yeah. So, your situation, Chaley, how he's feeling about you, for the most part, as far as like his feelings towards you. He doesn't feel like he wants to necessarily sort of like call in his soulmate, but he does feel a soulmate attachment or some sense of connection with you, right? But he's not necessarily willing to act on that situation at the minute. Doesn't even necessarily want to acknowledge it. Why? Because he's busy being the fool, girl. Sorry, thought that was funny. That's why I was laughing when I saw the cards come out. I was like, oh, that's too funny. So he's kind of like at this place where he's busy pretending like he's got all his stuff together, right? And it's like, oh, he acted on it. Yeah. Did he act on the not necessarily wanting to call in his soulmate, but can feel there's a soulmate connection situation? Answer that part. Sorry. He is who was here on the weekend. Yeah. Is that Mr. Saturday? Ah, Mr. Saturday. Is that who was here on Saturday? Okay, yep. Are you guys kind of like keeping the flow of things kind of moving? Yeah. You guys keeping the flow of things moving? Oh, well, I see happy face. Smiling faces are always like, oh yeah, things are good. You know? As far as like his hidden self, right? What's beneath the surface? So this is the thing. Yes, after some delays. Okay. There's a situation here as far as like the stuff that's hidden, I guess. Hidden. I think that he's basically made some hasty decisions, some hasty, foolish decisions, basically. And he hasn't necessarily sort of like disclosed some of those things to you. I think you asked another question as well in the space about how severe is his drug use. Energy cards on that one, right? We're going to sort of like clarify that one. How severe do you see how do you feel being in this space, beautiful? Because there's definitely like a feeling and sense that you guys are soulmates, but it just felt like he wasn't necessarily acting too much on the situation, right? Okay. show me how, where is Daniel actually on his like journey as far as like with his drug use? Where is he on his journey with his drug use? Like, seriously, guys. Okay. 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 Put it into context for me. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to say a few things on the situation. It was really good to see him. I missed him. And for him to actually break down and be vulnerable as far as making that happen. That's what's up. As far as like the drug use situation, I'm gonna say this. I feel like he's made some poor decisions in the past. I think that he's trying his best right now, right? I feel like he's trying his best right now to, I guess, make some better decisions moving forward, but he was triggered. He was triggered, and I think that that trigger kind of like saw him spiral, I guess, down a little bit of a road for a few months. I want to say a few months because it seems like he was actually like here but not here type thing. And it took him some time to be able to like get back to a place where he was able to govern that and get back into mastery of it, right? um Now I think that he has like a strong desire and will to kind of like really move into his recovery period, like really move into it, like actually like give it a really good go. I think he is inspired. I don't know if he's all the way motivated just yet, but I think he's inspired to really be able to like make some of those shifts and changes that needs to sort of occur for him to kind of, I guess, manifest the reality that he feels like he deserves. Because I think that it's almost like it's like within reach but not quite, within grasp but not quite there. It's like every time he tries to get himself to this place where he's almost there, where he can sustain himself, it feels like he makes a poor decision or something kind of comes in the way to kind of test him. That's how he feels, basically. It feels like something comes in the way to test him. He's always being tested. And there's a little bit of irritation about that. Um, hmm. Good, because whether it involves me or not, he so deserves that. Yeah, I think he wants it. I think he wants it. I think there's still a little bit of a fear of whether or not he deserves it. I think he's still working through that self-worth. I think that this situation where he goes to his vices is actually due to self-worth issues. And the more he continues to, I guess, feed himself, I guess, to the habit, the less the more it depletes his self-worth or the value of his worth, because then it kind of like validates, oh, I'm nothing, I won't be anything, I'm not, do you know what I mean? He then removes himself further and further away from the possibility of becoming exactly the very things that he feels like he's actually wanting to like manifest, the things that he actually low-key feels like he deserves. He just doesn't really know how to be deserving of it. I don't know how to put that, but he really does feel like he deserves it because he wants it so badly, but he doesn't know how to be deserving of it. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I think that he has spent money in the past, um, recent past as well. I want to put that across. But presently he's hanging in there and putting in a good fight. He's going hard with that fight at the minute, and I think he's cautious of heartbreak being a trigger for him moving forward. And I think that that's the main thing that he's kind of like maybe worried about, or not necessarily, he doesn't trust his judgment, if he should find himself in that environment where he's navigating through like the wounds of his heart, basically. um what do you guys advise Cheney in terms of navigating through the space now that Daniel's kind of revisited? Okay, thank you. What does that mean? Okay. Yes, he has severe childhood trauma issues involving the females in his life. Sorry, I'm like going through the process. Okay, so what they're saying with the situation, because I want to give it to you like in full blown context, right? They're saying the advice for you on the situation is to let go and let God, right? And when I say let go and let God, I just mean kind of like there isn't really anything that you can potentially do per se, right? It's not necessarily dependent on you, but you are one of the factors in terms of his motivation. Within the next few months, they're saying you can take action then, right? You can take action then, as far as like really being able to kind of like flow into, take your time with it, I think is what they're basically trying to say. They're saying like in the next couple of months, there's going to be some pivotal turning points in his process, right? This transition period that he's navigating through. And moving forward, it's not necessarily the right time to take action. It's more a case of something that has to happen. And when I say take action, so what do I mean? As far as fully committing to the situation, they're like, be lighthearted with it, be open with it, no labels per se, don't dive too deep in too quickly, but tread water carefully and lightly with the situation over the course of the next few months, because I think he himself is navigating through his own process of the pressures of life and what that might trigger, right? They're saying obviously in the next couple of weeks, it's not necessarily the best time to get anybody else involved in the dynamics of anything that you guys are trying to work out amongst yourselves. Just keep it amongst yourselves at the minute, and don't stop moving that way over the course of the next few months, because there's something better for you guys to kind of like navigate through. It's not necessarily just your now situation. Your now situation is a fracture. It's a remnants of the fracture of the previous decisions before, but no need to worry. The answer is yes. Moving forward, you guys will need to make some compromises, but you can trust the process. You guys have already moved through a lot of the things that needed to be forgiven, and moving forward, there's definitely going to be an unlikely element to the situation where, you know, when the unlikely air moves in your favor, it's unlike anything else that you've experienced before. You don't necessarily have to choose a new direction per se. The situation is going to improve, but it is up to you how you navigate the situation throughout the course of this year. Okay, not too much too soon, light, easy, breezy, baby steps type thing. They're saying if you, because he's still in a fragile state of his recovery, too much too soon can be a significant trigger and spiral, right? And him being able to have to pick himself up, that's something that actually has to happen, you know, in a good way for him to be able to actually like get back on his feet. Just they keep saying like just take your time. They keep saying just take it. He's fragile, basically. He's very fragile. And he's learning just how fragile he is, as are you with his process. So take your time over the course of the next few months, and things will start to move in you guys' favor. Okay? Because he wants it. He's just wounded at the minute. Okay? But I hope that that was useful for you, beautiful. At the minute, he does have, like, he's in control of his sacral on this situation, which is nice. So he is in control and mastery of his ability to create the situation. He's cognizant, and he's learning. I don't want to say quickly because I don't think it's quickly, but he's putting himself in some very forced situations to have to learn. So just be mindful. Okay? Right. Thank you, beautiful. Thank you. Right, Luminous. You're next on the list, my love, even though the list is now exceeded. He cares about you. He cares about you, Chelly. I think a part of him feels like he let you down previously. Yeah. Your decision matters. Your opinion, sorry, matters. Okay. MBE, free list is closed. I'm literally 2 more and then I'm finished. Luminous and Mawa. That's it. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. He knows that he disappointed you, and I think he feels some sadness for that. He just wasn't in his best frame of mind at the time, I think, beautiful. He really wasn't. Which is unfortunate, but yeah. He's learning how to love you, care about you better, like more healthily. I say love you, but he's growing into that too. I feel like I just dropped that like L bomb. Yeah, MBE. You're gonna have to tune in. Tune in next week. I mean, if I get here, but we'll see. We'll see. God's working on a plan. Right. So, Luminous Starseed wants to know. Oh. Luminous Starseed wants to know what's Candelario's current energy towards Jessica. Right? Calendario. What's their current energy towards Jessica? Thank you. Oh. There's a lack of closure with that situation. Between them and Jessica, it seems like there's still some attachments there with the situation. And I don't know if it has. Okay, this is a past life relationship, and they're still learning how to release the codependency of the time that they see. So when you kind of like get into a relationship with people, you become friendly and you become friends in situations, right? So I think that they're still having. Yeah, I think that they're still navigating through releasing that attachment at an emotional level. I think that they've Luminous Starseed is Jessica. No, I figured. Um, I feel like there's a lack of a closure with this relationship, and there's some attachment situations with the situation, right? Is it a past life situation? So are you guys exes? You guys are navigating through a coming back together. What's the dynamic as far as who you guys are to each other? It's okay. He said he loved me before. Oh, that's cute, girl. I didn't want to just like drop the L bomb on his behalf without him being here. Oh. We have known each other since younger days. We are friends, but I have love for him. Yeah. Um, there's still some codependency. Yeah, we're in no communication. Yeah, it feels like there's still some attachment dynamics to the situation at the minute. Um, past life relationship, release codependency or releasing codependency. Interesting. I I I'm not gonna say where you guys are now or who you guys are now is something that actually kind of like plays a factor, if you will, in terms of why you guys aren't necessarily friends that are engaged with each other um today. You know what I mean? Like, how can I break it down? So the way that the universe is putting it to me, obviously, you being where you are in terms of your thought process, your logistics. I think that you guys basically had outgrown each other in certain ways, pretty much. And with that, that just kind of meant that you kind of found yourselves drifting off into different stratospheres, I guess, finding your paths. That's how they're putting it to me, finding your paths. But there's still an attachment there. I think that their energy towards you is that there's still a lack of closure. Were you guys able to? Why did you guys stop being friends, if you don't mind me asking? What was the situation there? Sorry, Luminous Starseed is going to let me know. You know, what was the situation as far as like the friendship dynamic? Because I can see that it feels like things. I don't want to say ended on a cliffhanger, but it feels like there's still a lack of closure. I don't know that you guys actually kind of like, I wouldn't say decided to not be friends or anything like that. Thank you. We are in no communication, which is unfortunate. Glad to know that you're enjoying my well. Because he started acting weird towards me, like he was dealing with someone or something, but he never said anything. I stopped speaking to him recently. His birthday came up. I reached out and he started being mean. I left him alone, but overall, our friendship was always good vibes and so sweet. Yeah, yeah. There's still some regrets there, I guess. Not on the surface. I'm gonna say that because I think his ego is still like, you know, on one, for lack of a better way of putting it. His ego is still a little bit on one. But I do think that he Loki has some regrets about how he handled the situation and how he could have handled things better. Right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's the type of person, even when he's wrong, he's right. So that's neither here nor there. Like, you could just, yeah, because he knows he's wrong. Yeah, I feel, because I feel he knows he's wrong. He does. He does. And I don't think that he's kind of like fully willing to kind of like accept that per se. Um, but yeah, yeah. I guess his energy towards you is that there's still an attachment there, but there's a lack of closure towards that attachment. It's not all the way resolved or anything like that. So thank you for clarifying as well, because it felt like there was some stuff that wasn't entirely finished, basically, but they're not necessarily like navigating from the situation from a codependent place or anything like that. You know, they're just kind of like releasing that, letting things go, and not necessarily processing, for lack of a better way of putting it. Seems like they're actually going to find themselves with some repressed feelings later down the line. So yeah. Yeah, and I feel overall someone is putting something in his ear because we have always had a good connection. Yeah. Yeah. What's the advice then for Luminous? Well, Jessica, what's the advice for Jess? Oh, so many. Okay. So they're saying there's something better. You don't necessarily need to choose a new direction in terms of where the situation is right now. The situation will improve. I guess it's one of those things that has to be worked. It works itself out over time, basically. I think you get to a place where you're, I guess, less tempered, you know, where more time has gone on and you'll be able to kind of get to that place where you've forgiven a little bit more and a little bit longer. And it's like, okay, don't do that again, friend, but we can work on trying to rekindle some of what we've had. I'm just curious, but but I'm also focusing on my inner healing. So if we come together again, it will happen if it happens. It's not anything that's happening anytime soon, but it's something that the universe may give you guys an opportunity to decide where you guys actually are with each other, because there is genuine love and care there. So the universe is going to give you an opportunity to actually decide. I think actually this situation is going to go on for at least, I guess, throughout the process of this year, where you guys can then decide after enough time has passed where you guys actually are with each other, and if you guys are willing to actually work at rekindling the friendship. Okay. That part, if it doesn't, it's fine as well. Life keeps going. It will always keep lifing. That part, Jess. Okay. So I hope that that was useful for you. Nonetheless, I mean, not necessarily processing anything, not really, you know, giving all the stuff the opportunity to give all that it can give. But hey, I guess we'll pay for the consequences of that later. But I hope that that was useful for you, my love. The sun doesn't stop shining for no one overall, but do you feel like our bond can be rekindled? I do, actually. I do. I think with some effective boundaries in place, I do think that the bond can actually come back together. I think they have to be willing to work there. I'm going to say that much. I think that they have to be willing to work at, because this whole ego thing where, you know, they're not necessarily coming forward because they, you know, they would rather be right for doing wrong type thing. That's something that's, you know, as you guys continue to grow in your individuality throughout the friendship, it will cause some friction. So that personality type or trait has to be optimized. Otherwise, eventually, you're going to get to a place where you do not have the tolerance or capacity to withstand much more of that behavior, unfortunately. Okay. But thank you. Beautiful. Okay. Mawa. almost 4 hours in, and you are the last contestant. I feel like it was a talk show. But the talk show had a few different tangents. And it went wherever the wind blew it. Okay? That part. Because I feel like that's literally how things kind of like went for the most part as far as the space. So yeah. But yes, Mara. Oh, thank you, beautiful. Thank you. Let me get your question when you've managed to put it out there. And then I'm good. I'm good to go. That is it for tonight, for this evening. Oh, thank you. Oh, did she leave? Oh, Mawa. You were like this close, girl. This close. She said she's here and she was enjoying. Um, I guess that's it, right? I'm gonna start packing up shop, I guess, and see whether or not they actually manage to get back into the space in time. But that is it. I feel like tonight went better than anticipated because I didn't know how much energy I did have. And wow, God just kind of like blessed me tenfold to get energy in places I didn't even know. So yeah, hopefully she was good. Something must have happened. I know how these things go, man. Something must have happened because she was saying that she was like busy crying and stuff. So um yeah. Thank you though. Shaylee. I hope you have a fabulous week as well, girl, because you deserve it. I hope that the week is fruitful. We've got a lot going on astrologically tomorrow. That's really going to be beneficial for some of the finance classes that we've been sitting. So I'm looking forward to that. A lot of movements happening for this astrological new year starting this week. So your girl's looking forward to that too, right? No, you're doing beautiful. You're doing. Okay, snaps for you. You ain't just trying, girl. You're doing, and you're doing an amazing job. So kudos to you for that part, right? We love that. We love, love, love. But on that note, because I think that I'm actually well and truly off duty by the looks of it. I think that spirit's letting me go. I don't know if hubby is still up at this point. It's like almost 2 a.m., but hey, we'll see. I'm going to check in with a hubby. But thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. It was touch and go with it being a Sunday night and stuff, but I appreciate you guys. It has been definitely a trip, as always. Like, yeah, some rock stars until the end, Shaylee. That part, definitely, 100%. I love that. But there we go, Mawa. I'm all packed up, so that's it. The guys, we're gonna settle in for the night. But thank you guys so much for just being dope. Okay, I hope you guys have a dope week, just as dope as each and every single one of you. Sorry, I love you guys. God bless. Okay, I'll see you guys next Friday. Fingers crossed, guys. I'm gonna keep you guys posted. Okay, pray for you, girl, because I'm gonna pray for all of you guys. Okay, you guys are gonna be on my prayer list tomorrow. Okay, love you guys. Mwah. God bless, guys. Sarah. Oh, that's funny.